The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Twice. He lifts this one to right center. It is gone.
Afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, and it's Thursday, the Daily Grand, your chance to get $1,000 a day for the next 20 years, which is $7.3 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And of course, remember tomorrow, Lotto Max, $60 million up for grabs, and 6 Max Millions at PlayAlberta.ca. Jason Gregor alongside Declan Cougar. Josh Fenwick is running things at Orders Nation, and it'll be a busy show. We got lots to discuss. Some signings today in the National Hockey League, which no shortage of cash on day 3. Nikolai Ehlers is off the board, $8.5 million for the next 6 years for Nikolai Ehlers. He goes to the Carolina Hurricanes. Also, the San Jose Sharks, they claim Nick Leddy on waivers, so that adds $4 million, and then they get Dmitry Orlov at $6.5 million for 2 years, and that gets them over the salary cap floor. So the Sharks are now up to $72.5 million. The only team that's under the Ducks, but they'll get over easily because they got 2 RFAs who are going to get big money in Lucas Dostal as well as Mason McTavish. They also have Drew Hellenson on the back end. He's not going to command big money, but the other 2 will easily get them over the minimum threshold, which is about $70.5 million. So really, those are the 2 big signings today. You also had former Oil King Trey Fix-Wolanski signs with the Rangers. You had signing last night, came in late last night, but Morgan Frost, $4.375 for 2 years with the Calgary Flames. So that's the update on the free agent market, if that interests you at all, which something tells me it does if you're a hockey fan. Also today, we'll hear from former Edmonton Oil King, a current member of the Edmonton Oilers, Curtis Lazar, and he will join us right away in hour number 1 on the show. So we'll talk about why he chose Edmonton. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Oilers might have offered him a contract in the past, but we'll double check that with Curtis. I think the year he chose Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see, though. Livingston will be by. We'll talk a little basketball. The Stingers are red hot as Jordan Baker, their head coach, will join us. Corey Lavalette will be by from Carolina to talk about the Hurricanes. Spec, of course, talking all things NHL. We'll have Ken Reed on. Stephen Bazan, another edition of Thirsty Thursday. We'll get your thoughts on a few things around the world of sports. How about the Toronto Blue Jays? And hey, if you were looking for entertainment, there's no way you weren't entertained last night. The Jays, they're up 7-0 in the first inning. They're killing it. They're loving it. But the Yankees come all the way back, actually tie the game before the Jays find a way to get the win. They actually scored the winning run on a wild pitch or pass ball, whichever one you want to call it. But that was a big win for the Jays. They are now tied with the Yankees atop the American League East. And man, no Bichette, no Varsho. Santander's not playing, but he really hasn't done much all season. So I'm not sure if that's a huge loss. I think they were hoping he would be better than he is. But, the Jays scored after the Yankees tied it in the 8th on a huge home run. The Jays get 2 in the bottom of the 8th, and they win 9-11. 28 hits in that game yesterday. So there was no shortage of runs. So I'm telling you right now, you might I think the Blue Jays train starting to gain a little traction. And some of you, obviously in Edmonton, you were focused a lot on the Oilers playoff run, understandably so, but maybe we'll be watching the Jays tonight, and it's going to be Schmidt versus Bassett tonight on the mound in that matchup, and an opportunity for the Jays to sweep the Yankees and move into first place, which is pretty impressive. So you look at it, the wild card, because Toronto has the tiebreaker. Technically, they are ahead of the Yankees, but either way, they both then they got a little bit of a gap here over in the wild card race, because they're 2.5 games up on Tampa Bay, and then you got Seattle right there. So actually, no, they're only a game up on half a game up on Tampa Bay, but they're 3 games up on Seattle. And really, it comes down to the Texas Rangers, the Angels, the Red Sox. Those are the teams who are 5 or 6 wins back of the Blue Jays at this point. So Jays in a pretty good position heading into they got this weekend, and then they'll go to the All-Star break. Other news we'll talk about, of course, the Elks are back in action at home on Sunday. They'll be looking for their first win of the season, and Ottawa's got 1 win. Now, Ottawa has not had their starting quarterback, Drew Brown. Played 1 game, hasn't played since. And so there's a good chance he's taken all the reps. You could see him under center for Ottawa on Sunday. And I don't really care who's playing for Ottawa. This is a game, the Elks, like, if you're going to get out of your funk and you're going to start climbing up the ranks, these are the teams you got to beat. It's just that simple. You can't keep losing it. So there you go. Also, Brett Burns, he signed late last night, 1-year deal with who did Burns sign with them? I'm drawing a blank, but he signed late last night, Colorado. He signed with the Colorado Avalanche, 40 years of age. That guy, he is the current active leader in games played consecutively. Like, he doesn't get hurt. The last time he missed a game, I think for Brent Burns, we got to go back like over a decade. Like, this guy at his age, pretty remarkable when you think about it. He's played 929 consecutive games. He's 3 games shy of 1,500. The last game he missed was in 2013, 2014. That is crazy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 consecutive seasons without missing a game. Pretty impressive. And keep in mind, he managed to avoid missing games during COVID either. Just, avoided the vid, didn't get sick. So good for him. So that's what makes that even more impressive. So he's 3 games shy of 1,500 regular. He's also played 135 playoff games. Pretty solid career for Brett Burns, who was a defenseman, did play a little forward. Remember that for a brief time with the Minnesota Wild, but then went to San Jose and had a really good career with the Sharks. This will be his 4th team: Wild, Sharks, Canes, and now back into the Western Conference in Colorado for Brent Burns. So I'll say this: he's a big character. He'll add some enjoyment into that room, no doubt. Also, a few other notes looking at. We got a lot of texts coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll get to it. I think there's some signs of why things are what they are. We'll get to that. Hey, Gregor, what do you think on Isaac Howard? I don't know. Like, obviously you've talked. They felt like it wasn't good enough of a return, and we'll see what happens. It's not one, he's a good young player, but again, you don't, like, just because you're good in college doesn't mean you're going to be good in the NHL. So, I could see why Edmonton's not going to overpay significantly for him. I think teams are interested, but here's the other thing. Tampa Bay is not going to get exactly what they want because some of the teams are like, well, we know the guy's not signing there. It's just the truth. And he can go play college for one other year. So we'll see as it gets kind of closer to the end of the summer. I still think something will happen this year. I think Tampa Bay is going to look and say, because the longer they wait, I think the return becomes less. That's just how it is. So, hey, Gregor, who do you think is going to be the new power play coach? Laviolette and Tortorella have experience. Unsure who else. Well, I don't. Has Peter Laviolette ever been an assistant coach in the NHL? I got to look that up. I don't. If he has, it's been a long, long time ago. So I know that you can get some guys, but Peter Laviolette to me is probably like a head coach guy. I think he was an assistant his first year in 2000, 2001. And since then, he's been a head coach. Islanders, Hurricanes, Flyers, Predators, Capitals, Rangers. He's never actually, he changed coaching staff all the time. But since he got in, he hasn't had a year out of the game. Right? 2002 and 3 was the Islanders. 4, and then, of course, there was a lockout, so technically 5, but no one played. 6, 7, 8, 9 with the Hurricanes. Got let go during that season. Then he joined Philadelphia after, 28 games? Then he joined the Flyers as a head coach, stayed there until 2013-14. And that's when he got fired 3 games into the season. That was a wild year. You don't see that very often. Then he left. And the next year was hired by, so he took the rest of that year off, then hired by Nashville, stayed at the Preds for up until 1920, got let go, 41 games into that season. Then he was hired by Washington, spent 3 years with the Capitals, was let go in the offseason, and then signed with the Rangers for the last 2 years. So Peter Laviolette as a head coach, I'm going to say, as an assistant coach, I guess anything is possible, but that would, I don't know. I think it'd be difficult if you're Laviolette to go from being a head coach for that long to be an assistant. Now, John Tortorella, similar boat. He was an assistant, though, for quite some time, right? John Tortorella was an assistant coach in the 90s for 5 seasons, 6 seasons with the Sabres. Then he became the head coach in Rochester in the American League. And his first year actually won a championship in 95, 96. Then he was an assistant coach, went back to the NHL for 2 years with the Coyotes, then moved to the Rangers for 1 season, and then got the head coaching job in New York for the last few games of that year. But guess what? They missed the playoffs. They brought in a new head coach. It wasn't him. Then he went to Tampa Bay and got hired by the Lightning. Obviously won a cup in his 4th season with the Lightning. And then he got let go. Then he went to the Rangers, no time off. Then he was let go of the Rangers, actually in the offseason. Then he went to Vancouver. That was 1 year in Vancouver. Probably the most memorable time of Torts in Vancouver is when they tried to get into the brawl in the hallway. That was pretty fun. Then he went to Columbus, was the head coach with the Blue Jackets through until the end of 2021. Then he had a year off. Then he was the Flyers head coach for the last 3 seasons. So when you've been a head coach for 20 consecutive years, like, I don't know, man. I think, could he do it? Maybe. I don't know if there's any connection between him and Chris Knobloch. Right now, Dave Haxtell, there's a connection there. So that's one name. I've been looking at some other names because I do think coaching staffs like to have a guy who is a former head coach. So there are a few of them, but those are 2 who, I don't know, for whatever reason, they seem like more Haxtell because he worked with Chris Knobloch. Now, he was the head coach. Knobloch was the assistant coach. They worked together well. Are they too similar? That's a fair question. So I don't have a good sense of it. There's lots of coaches that can run a power play. I'll tell you, any guy out there would be like, hey, I get to come to Edmonton and work the power play. Thank you, because you're working with McDavid and Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins and Bouchard. It's a pretty good option to go and be. I think that, as I've said before, I think there'll be multiple changes to the coaching staff of the Oilers. We'll take a quick break. Curtis Lazar will join us next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Your Edmonton Riverhawks salute Edmonton's first responders tomorrow night with complimentary tickets for them and half-price tickets for their +1. Then, our local forces will compete in legendary contests like the Tug of War. Get your ticket today to watch the Hawks play at gohawks.ca.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Did you wake up this morning and think, I want to be a used RV salesman? If you're like most people, the answer is no. But if you want to sell your quality used RV yourself, then a used RV salesman is what you are.
Welcome to your new job.
That's right, Bob. Put it up on all the best websites. Wait for the phone to ring and be ready day or night, weekday or weekend. Drive out to the storage lot for every random tire kicker who calls and hope that what you have is exactly what they want.
There's an easier way to do this, Rick.
That's right, Bob. You could bring it to No Bull RV. We love selling used RVs, and the customers are already here. Commercials like this, bring them in by the hundreds. All you need to do is cash the check when it leaves our lot. Used RV salesman is not what you wanted to be when you woke up this morning. And if it was, well, I think you better come out here and apply for a job.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass. Your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer service for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Through Thursday afternoon, how are you? Jason Gregor, Declan Cougar with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday, as we're going to get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. The Discovery Day sales event continues on now. XC90s, 40s, 60s, all at great deals. You can finance the XC90 plug-in hybrid at 1.49% and save an additional $5,000 right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. The Oilers did sign 2 free agents. One of them very comfortable in Edmonton as he won 2 WHL championships and a Memorial Cup with the Edmonton Oil Kings in 2012, and then winning the Memorial Cup in 2014. Curtis Lazar joins us, of course, former first-round pick of the Ottawa Senators, as he is now a KG veteran in the NHL. Curtis, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
It's good. It's interesting that, you started out as a young kid in Edmonton, you have a lot of success, and then you go to the NHL and you live out the dream, and now here you are, you're 30 years of age, and you're kind of coming back to where really like the serious part of your hockey journey started.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm no spring chicken anymore. There's no secret about that, but it's been awesome. I mean, the journey in itself, it's been a whirlwind, lots of ups and downs in between, but that's just the piece of the NHL. And I think for myself, thinking about going to Edmonton as a teenager in the junior, not knowing what I had ahead of me, what my career was going to look like, to now coming back, going to be able to call Edmonton home once again. This time we bring in a wife and 2 kids and 2 dogs with me, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I got 2 young boys, 2 and 4. So I know I was talking to you earlier. Your 4-year-old's he's very much into hockey, and he didn't necessarily grasp, but that there was only 2 teams in the Stanley Cup final, but one of them's Edmonton. So when you tell your son that he's going to Edmonton, what's his reaction?
Well, the first question is always, well, how loud is their goal horn? Doesn't want to be scared. I think he might have some run-ins with the mascot as well, but he's just hockey obsessed and crazed with everything. Coming to the rink, it just puts a big smile on his face. And as a father, it makes me pretty proud. I just kind of let him go about his own business. And if he enjoys the game, that's great. But if he wants to go down other avenues, then that's awesome as well. But he loves playing.
Where?
I think we got cut off there for a sec. So we'll try to reconnect. Someone grabbed the phone there. Who knows? Well, Declan will reconnect with him. That was kind of weird. It's like his phone dropped and then went someone else. But yeah, so Curtis Lazar, of course, got drafted by the Senators, 17th overall back in 2013, and then spent another season with the Oil Kings. Then went to the Senators, played there for 3 years. Then was in Calgary for 3, Buffalo for a few, Boston, Vancouver, New Jersey. So it's definitely seen a lot. This will be his 4th Canadian team. So Ottawa, Calgary, Vancouver, and now Edmonton, and Curtis is back with us. And, coming to Canada, Curtis, free agency comes around, and, as a right shot center who can win faceoffs, there's obviously a few options for you. What made you decide on Edmonton at the end?
Yeah, I think just looking, right after the season, kind of possible fits and whatnot, Edmonton was always one that kind of stuck out. Obviously, there's a soft spot into the city, like we just touched on, but I just think there's a chance for me to really kind of carve out a role there. The things that I take a lot of pride in, which, like you said, those faces on the right side, killing penalties, just kind of playing a strong game. It can really benefit the team, and the Edmonton's a great place. So I've had some great conversations with Chris and our yesterday, kind of what my role is going to look like and how I can contribute to this team. And I'm looking forward to the challenge, the opportunity.
So right shot center, but you can play the wing as well. You can play both. Is there one you feel more comfortable at this stage of your career, or does it really matter?
It honestly doesn't really matter. I'm going to give it my all and do whatever it takes to help our team win, regardless if that's down the middle or on the left side or the right side. I just want to be on the ice and be contributing, I guess. But again, that's something that we talk about the experience too, of kind of, get my toe in all 3 positions, and I'm comfortable in being effective at it all.
You mentioned, obviously now you kind of know where the game's at, and you have a connection. You and McDavid played together at the World Juniors. Hockey's a small kind of community in a sense. So you kind of know what it's like. Any of the players reach out to you when you sign?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to Connor pretty much right away after. It's good to touch base with him too. I've kind of kept my distance since the World Juniors. How long ago that's been, which is kind of crazy too. He's a busy guy and he's got the weight of the world on him too. So I've just always let him be. But it was good to kind of go back and forth a little bit. And also, I mean, I'm familiar with so many guys on this team from crossing paths. Trent Frederick reached out as well, so I was able to congratulate him on his contract, and we get to reunite with him, and also Pod Colson, who I know from Vancouver. So he gave me a nice English-Russian text. That's I think it said he's happy to see me, but we'll see.
Now you were in Vancouver, you signed with the Canucks. You were a free agent, so you've gone through this process before. But the Oilers had expressed interest a few years ago, had they not?
Yes, yeah, they were kind of sniffing around previously, and I've always wondered, right? It's like, well, Edmonton's a spot that I want to go at some point in my career. At that moment, I just didn't think it was, but looking back, you wonder, well, maybe it's not the right time. But I'm the firm believer it happens for a reason. I enjoyed my short time in Vancouver, which ultimately led to some great memories in New Jersey. Tough way to go out last year, just with a very injury-riddled season, but here we are. I'm an Edmonton Oiler now, and I couldn't be happier.
Curtis Lazar joins us. So, Curtis, you come in, you look at the depth chart, and right shot center. The Oilers didn't have one last year, so there's yourself, and right now there's Noah Philp, and there's competition, and then there's working with young guys. And I know you've worked with, you've had veterans help you out in your career. Can you talk about that dynamic that you'll come in and you'll want to win the job, but at the same time you're trying to help a young guy establish himself in the NHL? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I mean, that just speaks to the culture of the team too. Anytime that a team invests in you, is paying you pretty much in this profession, you want to do whatever their best interest is at heart. So I think for myself and Noah, like you said, I just want to help them out first and foremost, because I remember when I was that young, trying to find my way. Face-offs are a big part of it. Like, you're going against men here. They got a little bit more strength. They know the ins and outs. They have relationships with the linesmen. They can get away with a little bit more, everything like that. So kind of, tidbits here and there. And then, like you said, the battling and stuff, but, everything's just going to be earned. That speaks to the culture of the team. It starts from up top, from, your top players all the way down, and you got to, pull your own weight. And really, it doesn't matter who's in the lineup on any given night, who's ever dressed. You want to get those points at the end of the day. So, I mean, that inner competition is good. There's no hard feelings ever. You go out there, you lay it all on the ice, and that's the best thing about hockey too. Is it's hard to find a bad person in this game.
Curtis Lazar joins us, signs a one-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers. And Curtis, a lot of times when you come to a new team, you want to. The GM, and they'll tell you, hey, we're happy to have you, and that's great. But at the end of the day, the coach is the one who ultimately decides, how much you're going to play, where you're going to play. At least in most of the good run organizations, the GM isn't telling the coach who to play. So did you have a conversation with Chris Knobloch and kind of maybe outline how he sees you or where he sees you fit in?
Yeah, I mean, mainly just on the stuff that we touched on, the importance of having a right shot center that can, win those faceoffs on the right side. It's a simple thing, but it goes such a long ways because, it gives everyone possession at the start of a shift. And if you're not, chasing the puck for the first 20, 25 seconds of your shift, so you got more energy to play on the offense. So that's an area that I hope we can do. Penalty kill is a big part of my game as well. So I'm excited to kind of get in that fold into the mix, and really just project energy, protect my teammates, chip in offensively. Like I said, last year was a very off season. I was injured pretty much the whole year, but I still think that I can hold my own on the offensive side. And really, like I told Chris, you move me wherever you're going to get my best and my honest effort each and every night.
Now, what type of injuries did you have last year? Any of them lingering?
No, we're all good. Had a knee injury, had a surgery that was successful, but they put some hardware into my knee that my body just didn't react too well. So I actually got that removed probably about 6 weeks ago, and I haven't looked back since. So I am feeling great in the gym. It's been the first time, I guess, in almost a year that I'm able to move the way I want to. And that's just going to help me too. And the game's so fast now as well, right? You need to be able to create separation, be strong in your skates, and it feels good to have that pop back again.
And it's interesting you say that because you almost, I don't know if you take it for granted when you're healthy. And then when you play, when you're non-healthy, you realize just, oh my God, like what a difference the game is when I can't do what I'm capable of doing. And I'm guessing mentally for you, it's even easier just to go to the gym and go train because you're like, I feel good and I know I'm going to be able to give my best.
Yes, I think so. And last year it was mainly, I've never known with wanting to play hockey in the sense that, my body's a little banged up here and there. I mean, we take a lot of pride in kind of playing through pain and injuries and stuff. And that was kind of my story of last season. But like you said, I mean, now you go to the gym this summer and it's just, oh, wow, I'm moving a lot faster here. Let's push a little bit more, see, how good I can get, how good I can feel on the ice. And it kind of all ties in together, and you're going to hit the ground running in the season. So that's where I'm at too. Even, getting that clarity of knowing I'm an Edmonton Oiler, things start to add up, and it just adds the excitement and allows you to focus on your work a bit more, especially summer strong.
Curtis Lazar joins us. Curtis, I'm looking at your hockey DB right now, and I know when you click on the guy's picture, it goes through a whole range of Curtis Lazar photos, and I think at times you might have had the nickname Smiley even because you were smiling all the time as a young guy. But I've noticed in your hockey DB pictures late in your career, it's like the closed mouth smile. Is this like serious Curtis Lazar, or is it still a perma smile on you?
I mean, I guess I just wasn't happy on photo day. I mean, it's fitness testing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jason, I'll let you decide if I'm smiling or not in this year's photo.
Yeah, you'll have to have a big one.
I mean, I love the game.
Yeah.
That's who I am. It's a business. You want to win. It's what it's all about, but you got to have fun doing it too. So I love keeping it like we got. The rough stuff, whatever, I'll be right in the middle of it with a big smile on my face. So that's just who I am. I have a lot of passion for this game.
Curtis Lazar joins us. You mentioned McDavid reached out right away after you signed. And, when you signed here in Edmonton, you had a few options. I know you chose Vancouver the time before, but the Oilers have been, they're a good team, right? They went to the Stanley Cup final. They're a really good team. And, you've been on good teams. You won around in Boston. Obviously, you had some disappointment in Boston too, but kind of how much did that play into it for you to say, okay, you know what? Like, it's not about the money here. It's about the opportunity for me to be around a winning team.
Well, absolutely. And I think the older I've gotten too, you kind of realize that it's not about your dollar figure, the amount of money you're making. It's about the situation for your mental health and well-being as well on that day-to-day basis. Going to the rink, enjoying things, having success. Those things go, hand in hand with your personal health. And Edmonton's a great situation. Like you said, they've come close the past couple of years. They're so close, and you can just kind of feel, from the outside, just that desire to get over the hump. And I'm excited with that challenge of coming in and trying to contribute and help out the best I can. But, you double that with the chance you get to play back in Canada with, some of the most passionate fans ever. It's special, and that's something that I really want to be a part of.
Curtis, do you know what number you're going to wear in Edmonton?
Yeah, actually, I talked to Langer this morning. I think I'm going to be wearing number 20.
Number 20. So what's the, do you have, like when you go through a number, how are you a guy who's connected to numbers? You really not care? What kind of goes through your mind when you're looking at numbers?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny you say that. So I grew 20 growing up. Obviously in junior, I wore 27, what carried me to Ottawa. Went to Calgary, 27 wasn't there, went to 20, back to, I guess, where was it after that? I've had a bit of a block a few times. So Buffalo was 27 and so on and so forth. I've kind of rotated through it. And then both were taken New Jersey. I just randomly chose number 42, which I probably would have stuck with in Edmonton, but that's taken by Kapanen, and Kulak's got 27. So let's run it back with 20.
Running back with 20. All right. Nothing wrong with that. Now you've played, you kind of been lucky in a way that you're drafted by Ottawa, then you go to Calgary, and you've been in an original 6 team in Boston and New Jersey, and now back to Edmonton. Like the playing in Canada, playing the US in some of those markets. How much does that matter for you at all? Like, is it noticeably easier in certain markets to get up for games? Is it easier in a Canadian market at all?
I wouldn't say it's easier. I always enjoy getting up to play. There's probably obviously a little bit more noise playing in Canada. I've already heard my fair share of it, and I was in Oilers for a couple hours already, just people going over the old stat sheet from the previous season. So that's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
But you got to enjoy that too. That's no different as a kid and a fan of the game growing up as well. It's because they care. They want to see a winner of their on the on-ice product to be something good. But I'm a firm believer in every team in this league offers something different and fun, and just ultimately comes down to what you and your family make of it. But we have the history and the past with Edmonton, winning a championship there. and coming back here kind of full circle, it's special to me. And I want nothing more than to raise that Stanley Cup in Edmonton and kind of check off a couple championships in the city.
Now, you mentioned going back to your knee injury that, that you had some, like, was it a screw inside that they left in there and then you got it taken out because it just wasn't, I don't know if you're getting infection or it wasn't allow you to move. What did you get removed?
Yeah, it was a screw that kind of reinforced my knee. It's more stable than ever, except the knee feels great. That's why there's no concern. But the screw is supposed to dissolve, and it had other plans, I guess. So it's kind of led to some internal swelling and stuff. I got to the point where my bones were kind of pushing it out of my body. So they went in there, cleaned that up, and it's been great ever since. So I'm glad that's behind me because, there were a few dark days last year, kind of like, well, is this ever going to come back? But as we touched on before, just that relief of knowing I'm healthy and strong again in training, it's been fun. And I'm excited to get back to myself, play my brand of hockey.
And what do you do in the offseason? I know you're in Kelowna. Is there still a pretty good contingent of NHLers that you train with?
Yeah. Kelowna's always been a hot spot for players. You got the lake right there, the golf, the wineries, man, you name it, kind of Kelowna's got it. But yeah, a lot of NHL guys that come out here, we skate and we train together, and it's been awesome. Even going through this free agency too, we had a lot of guys up that were looking for deals. So going through the process together was fun, and we get to kind of celebrate one another, but also just push each other in the gym. We're all competing and growing our friendships off the ice and developing, getting ready for the season. But then when that puck drops comes the fall, all bets are off. So it's good, get used to being around some guys that you call, I guess, opponents throughout the season.
Quickly, give Oiler fans, because you played with Frederick in Boston for 2 seasons, and he came here, he had the high ankle sprain, and really wasn't able to show what he could do. You played alongside of him. What do you think a healthy Trent Frederick will bring to Edmonton?
Well, I mean, Freddie's an animal first and foremost. He's kind of that dog on a bone, and like you said, I mean, he's coming off an injury. He's probably missing a step as well, but he's relentless on the forecheck. He plays a strong, mean physical game. But what I really admire about Freddie too is he's got that finesse side too. He's got great hands. He's got a great shot. He's able to make plays and beat guys one-on-one. So I mean, when he ties it all together, he's a very effective player. Afraid to drop the mitts either and stand up for his teammates. So Freddie kind of does it all, and I'm super happy to see him sign that deal. For what I've talked to him yesterday too, he loves Edmonton. He loves playing there, and he's looking forward to the future.
Well, Curtis, congratulations for you coming back to Edmonton. It is the city. It'll just be a different rink for you. That's all. So, but lots of good memories in the city, and Oiler fans are hoping maybe you can get another championship in Edmonton.
That's the plan. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. That's Curtis Lazar, of course, former Edmonton Oil King. They won the WHL title in 2012, and then in 2014 they won the Dub and the Memorial Cup title. Then went on to been in the NHL basically ever since 2014, 2015 with the Sens and the Flames and the Sabres and the Bruins, Canucks for 45 games. I got traded that year to the Devils, and then spent the last 2.5 years with New Jersey. And now comes into Edmonton, a right shot center, can take faceoffs, kill penalties, also can play on the wing. I think him and Noah Philp, it's going to be a competition for that fourth line center, and maybe even really for the potential 13th forward spot. And there could be games where both guys are in the lineup together, and Lazar's playing the wing. So I talked to him before we did the interview, and he said, you know what, it's one of those things. He watched some film. It was interesting. He signed and he started watching film of games and stuff, and just kind of get himself acclimatized to the team. And he says, hey, like with Philp, you got to go there and you want to push him for the job because you want to compete. And maybe they split the role. We'll see. But it's a unique thing sometimes in pro sports where you're a veteran, you come there and you want to win, but at the same time you're there to try to help out a young guy become a little bit more comfortable in the NHL. And anybody who played with Curtis Lazar, anybody who's come across him, it is hilarious because he has a huge smile on his face all the time. But in his photos at Hockey DB, it's like a little grin, but it's a closed mouth one. I just found it quite funny for anybody who knows him. I think a lot of people call him Smiley. He's very, very upbeat, was beloved by his teammates in junior and a lot of places he goes. So former roommate of Connor McDavid in World Juniors. So now it wasn't that long where they spent time together, but obviously, you know, some guys, that always makes the transition a little bit easier. 2:41. That's the Oil Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Quick break. We'll return, and we will, hey, it was Canada Day yesterday. Got a big weekend coming up, so we'll look and discuss on that on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman. Legacy's AC Repairman. AC Repairman. Can't spell Legacy without AC. Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Albertans love to tailgate before the big game.
Gotta have burgers.
Hot dogs, obviously.
You're both missing out. Wilhauk Beef Jerky is the real MVP.
When it comes to tailgate snacks, there's only one unanimous pick.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
No barbecue required. Wilhauk is ready to eat before we head to our seats.
Bring it to your next football tailgate.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Seven on a lovely Thursday afternoon. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you are having a lovely day. Big game tonight if you're interested in Major Leagues of Baseball. The Blue Jays and the Yankees, literally a first-place showdown. The winner will be in first place as they are tied. Right now, you also have CFL, the Bombers on the road in Calgary. Bombers are 3-0. Calgary is 2-1. Then tomorrow you have Hamilton and Toronto. Saturday, BC's in Montreal. And on Sunday, Ottawa and the Elks, as the Elks will be looking for their first win of the season. And they got, we'll kind of see. They got back on the practice field. We'll be probably head down there tomorrow and check things out, see what's going to go different. They got to get more pressure consistently from the defense. I don't think there's any debate about that. Like, they put all the money into the defense, and outside of the third quarter in that game in Winnipeg, I think the defense has been underwhelming so far. Now it is Thursday, and it's time for another edition of Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. 2 locations at Edmonton, the OG on St. Albert Trail and 118th Avenue, and then southeast on 50th Street and 92nd. Beers, wine, cocktails, coolers, and a huge array of non-alcoholic beverages. It's the best place in the city if you're looking to give your palate a little taste of some new things. We've had Steven on the show lots and Dave Owens, and because of that, I stopped in and had a few people over and introduced them to a few of the new beers we've tried. And I have to say, the fellas were big fans. So today, Steven's going to bring in Steven Bizan joins us, and we're looking at something different today. What are these? RDs? Is that what they're called?
They're called RTDs.
RTDs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it stands for ready to drinks. And that's sort of more of an industry term, but it's starting to catch on as it just sort of encompasses this whole category, ranging from, canned cocktails that are more high proof, but also down to your really light coolers and seltzers, that sort of thing. So it's just a term to describe, pre-mixed drinks that are just ready to go. Right.
RTDs. Okay. Yeah. So what are we starting with today?
Yeah. So we are starting with Nice Life, a tamarind, peach, lime, and gin little cocktail here.
Well, first of all, I like it because it comes in a glass bottle.
Yeah,
big fan of the presentation matters sometimes. So
totally, yeah.
Nice Life.
They're out of Port Coquitlam.
What's floating in there?
It's that's all the natural ingredients. So they use real fruit, real juices.
Really?
It's all unfiltered. So you want to pour it gently if you want to leave all the sediment and things in there, but yeah, I sort of picked out a lineup today. Some of my
I love gin, buddy. This is good.
Yeah, it's so good. So the key to this one, I think, is the tamarind fruit.
Yes, that is such a different taste to it.
It's so different. We're starting to see tamarind come into vogue a little bit and be featured in some cocktails, RTDs.
That is refreshing, the thing I like, some of the premixed ones, I like it because it's not in a can. I don't know why, but some of the can ones I find are a little tinny in some of the cocktails. But
that's fair.
I really like this Nice Life cocktail, the tamarind. I've never had that in a drink.
Yeah, just the presentation with it, like you said, the glass bottle, it's it's professional, it's classy, it's got all real ingredients, no additives, and that sort of goes with most of the lineup I picked out today. I didn't want to pick stuff that's super sugary or artificial or anything.
Yes, thank you. Just try to keep it high and tight here, boys and girls.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, this is one of my favorites, and I just love that tamarind. It has like this tangy sort of character to it, but also this almost caramelized sugar quality to it. And it's we're starting to see, like I said, more drinks use tamarind in it, and I'm all for it.
Okay, well, that Nice Life, I'm saying it's going to be hard pressed now. Hard pressed to even get better than that.
Starting strong. Okay, RTD number 2. This is Stickler Shrub Cocktails, the blackberry lemon.
Blackberry lemon.
Yeah,
I like blackberry lemon combination. It's good.
This one's pretty unique too. So a shrub cocktail is actually it's a traditional style beverage. You might notice like a little tang on there, like something a little unique. So what a shrub cocktail is, It's sort of a blend of real fruit, and also they add some red wine vinegar to it. So traditionally, before there was
interesting.
Yeah, before there was refrigeration, that sort of thing, people used to use vinegar to preserve the fruits in their drinks, and it used to make little mixtures and things. So it's kind of like if you had kombucha before, that like sort of that fermented tea flavor. It's actually it's got a lot of good health qualities to it as well.
Well, that's what we like. You know what? Hey, the stickler. Well, just remember that good health qualities. If you want to have the blackberry and lemon.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of gin. So, you know, some people don't like gin. Gin when I was younger, I couldn't do it. Now, maybe because, and no offense, but Beefeater is not necessarily a great gin. But as you get older, I found now I quite like gin. Gin Sonics, half soda, half tonic. Big fan of those.
Yeah,
so,
big time.
And
just coincidentally, I want to pick ones that I enjoyed personally, and it just kind of featured more unique either flavors or methods of production. And it just turned out most of them are gin today too. And that was totally unplanned.
Okay.
But number 3, moving from gin, we have a soju based cooler. So this is the Moon.
It's clear.
Yeah, it's clear. It's called the Moon Cinnamon Fruit Punch Sparkling Soju Cooler. So soju, if you aren't familiar with it, it's
what is soju? I can say I've never heard of it.
Yeah, soju. It's traditionally a Korean-based distilled beverage. So it's similar in a lot of ways to vodka. Traditionally, it's made.
So soju is actually like it's vodka. It's actually soju. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little less alcohol than vodka.
Got some aroma to it.
Yeah, so it's got that cinnamon and blend of fruit in there, nice and refreshing. And we're starting to see the soju-based spirits are becoming more and more popular.
Wow, that is, I don't even know how to describe that. It's
this
very different.
Yeah, it's the use of cinnamon. There's some persimmon in there too, some cinnamon, just blends of fruits. It's unique flavor.
It's very like honestly, I'm not great at describing. That's why you're here, but yeah, it doesn't taste like vodka or gin or anything remotely like them. And there's this it's kind of like a delayed aftertaste.
Yeah, exactly. And that's sometimes that's the goal of an RTD, is some of them are more spirit forward. So you get the flavor of the gin or the whiskey or whatever is used in the RTD, but sometimes it's just, a blank canvas to allow the spices and things to shine through. So I really like cinnamon. So I feel like that comes through quite a bit.
Yeah, no, the cinnamon does. And yeah, people who like the cans, people who like certain cans, because I know that you want to have that sitting on your counter. People like, ooh, look at that conversation starter. I will say I like the presentation of it. The taste is just different. It's
really different, and there's a bit of a local connection too. So Moon Spirits, they're a Toronto-based company, but they make traditional Korean soju, but they actually use corn from Alberta to make their soju. So there's a little bit of a local connection here.
Not Tabor corn, is it?
It could be Tabor corn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't specify, but I bet you most likely.
It is definitely it's kind of like a delayed aftertaste quite a bit afterwards.
It really lingers, like it's
in your throat.
Yeah, totally. It's like a red berry sort of thing. And the spices really come
very
through.
Spicy.
Yeah. And speaking of spicy, we could move on to RTD number 4. So I've actually never tasted this one before. So me and you will be tasting it for the first time today. We just received it in the store yesterday.
Okay. Doesn't have a great smell. Like there's not much smell to it, is what I mean.
Oh yeah. Let's see. So it's Anova, the mango habanero.
Oh, okay. So Anova's been around. I've seen this cans before.
Yeah. So it's made by Dark Sky Distillery, which is a local
gin mango habanero.
And I've noticed the spicy ingredients seem to be really popular nowadays. The jalapenos, habaneros, ghost pepper. A lot of people are using those spices in their, whether it's beer or RTDs. I've just noticed it pop up more and more. So I was excited to try this one out.
It does. It's funny. Like when you eat spicy food, it's like hot. This one isn't hot, but you definitely taste it kind of at the top of your throat.
Yeah, for me, it's the mango is like it's super juicy, I thought. And then the heat slowly builds after you swallow. And it's got I really like it actually. Like it's got enough sweetness, because for a long time.
Yeah, it's not too sweet. I don't like too sweet.
I don't like too sweet either. And for the longest time, it was always the seltzers and really low sugar RTDs that were really popular. The big brand name stuff, you think of your White Claws or different ones like that, which had, zero sugar, like sort of minimal taste. They're just like really refreshing, low calories. And now we're starting to see things move towards, you know, just a little bit more sugar, not too sweet, but just accentuating those flavors a little bit more. Yeah.
Still have to say, buddy, if I'm right, that the tamarind peach gin at the start,
Nice Life.
The first two have been good.
Nothing wrong with that.
The
It's a good
soju
one.
is very different, though. I will say that
It's unique, and that's what we pride ourselves on at Sherbrooke too. So if you're looking for just unique flavor experiences, try something out, see if you like it or not.
So what do we got for 5?
So number 5, this one comes to us from Japan. So this is the Choya Umeshu sparkling RTD. So it's made with ume fruit, which is a Japanese plum. So you're going to get a nice sweetness, a little tartness, some dried fruit character. Almost, like raisins, dates, figs, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that is it's fruity taste for me.
Yeah.
Very fruity.
Super fruity. And that tartness really comes through on the finish there too. Like it's up front. It's super sweet.
It is weird. It starts sweet. I'm like, because I don't really like sweet, but then once you swallow it, all of a sudden now it's like it leaves and it's got a little kick to it.
Yeah,
it's almost sour.
That acidity really comes through. Yeah, and that's all from the ume fruit. And they use a cane.
What's
spirit.
ume?
So it's a type of Japanese plum.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's grown in certain regions in Japan. There's full spirits that are just made with ume, and then this one, so it uses the ume spirit, and then they add some soda to it. It's all natural sugars, that sort of stuff too. So nothing artificial in there, just pure ume goodness.
Now Slurpee Sean's wondering, he's like, hey guys, are these carbonated? And if so, are they like a seltzer? No,
definitely not like a seltzer.
No.
They're all carbonated. The last one that we'll try is a little bit
not
different.
not like noticeably carbonated. For me.
No. I found the Choya one that we just sipped, the ume one, and also the Nice Life. Like it's almost tighter bubbles. It has like more of a full mouth feel to it.
Yeah, I don't, because I'm not a huge seltzer guy either. But these to me don't come close. They're not close to a seltzer.
No, very different than like I said. They add a little sugar to it, which just adds more flavor. It's like less like a sparkling water and more like a cocktail in a can. And
now you have one final one, but it's unique about this because you couldn't open it before we came on. Why?
No. So this is the Inversion Elderflower Gin Sour. So this is it's a Calgary-based brand, and they do these canned cocktails, sort of different styles, but it's infused with nitrogen. So what they're trying to do is mimic like the true cocktail experience that you would have in the bar. So so shake it up like you would like a cocktail shaker, a few times pretty vigorously. Open it slowly. Let some of the pressure out, and then pour it quite heavy. And so it sort of replicates that foam that you would get on some cocktails. And so this is, like I said, the Elderflower Gin Sour, 10.8%. So we're looking at a lot higher.
And then do I let it sit and settle before I drink it?
You know what? You could dive right in. Dive right in. A big part of this one is the texture and the mouthfeel. The nitrogen just makes it extra smooth and creamy. But you also get those really nice fruit flavors, that tart acidity.
Oh my God. It's like, it doesn't taste carbonated at all. It's like super smooth. That is weird.
Super, super smooth. Yeah. So it's 2 ounces of gin.
This could be dangerous.
It's super dangerous. Yeah. So 10.8%. So it's like a true cocktail in a can. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is
so you pour now. Could you sip on it? Well, obviously it's a cocktail.
Yeah,
you could sip on it. You put it on ice, but you don't want to pour it out and then let it sit for 10 minutes. You want to pour it out and have your first sip right away.
Yeah, it's ready to go. Like when you pour it, you saw it was like it looked like there was a lot of foam, but that's just the sort of the nitrogen settling out and just adding to that creaminess. So you want to drink it right away. It's good to go as soon as you crack it. Well, as soon as you crack it and pour it, you could dive in and take a sip. But it is a little like it's like I said,
it's very different.
10.8%. It's super easy drinking though. Like you get the nice sweetness up front, and just it's that balance of.
And you can taste the grape though, just a little bit.
Yeah, and the elderflower adds a touch of a floral vibe to it. This Inversion company, they do a whole range of different.
So what's Inversion? What does that mean?
I think it's in reference to just how you would serve the can. So it's what they name their brand, but you invert it and shake it up a little bit, and so it's just
so you want to shake it up a bit, and then
yeah, definitely. That's a huge part of it. You wouldn't want to. It just adds to that the whole quality.
So it's one of the few
texture.
alcoholic drinks where you're like, guys, shake it up before, right? This isn't a joke. It's not going to spray all over you.
Exactly. Yeah. So still open it, carefully, slowly, and then pour it hard into the glass as well. Like don't be afraid to do it, quickly.
So just
and
straight
get
up,
it
right in.
vigorously. Straight up, right
Okay.
in. Yeah. You don't have to pour it slowly. It's
And what's that's
ready to
called?
go.
Nitro?
Yeah. It's infused with sort of a nitrogen foam
Inversion.
in it. Yeah. So that's what gives it that
elderflower
really smooth-
gin sour.
Mhm. What do you think of that one?
I actually don't mind that one at all. I just like it because it's so different than anything I've ever had out of a can, for sure.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like when you first take that sip, it's smooth. It was like I was drinking water almost. It's flavor.
Yeah, it's like creamy and
Yes,
it's
yes. Creamy is a very good
creamy.
word because it felt like it was a little fuller.
Yeah, it's got that full texture to it. And it's saying like because Guinness, you're familiar with Guinness, that's infused with nitrogen too. So
Yeah.
it kind of has that, that similar texture to it when you take a sip.
I could channel my inner Struds here, and we could have lots of fun with some of these descriptions of these beverages.
Nice bouquet.
Yeah, it's like a bouquet of nitrogen. Mhm.
Awesome.
Tasting in my mouth. So
Yeah.
now the who makes the elderflower one?
So it's a company called Inversion. They're actually a Calgary-based
Inversion. Okay.
Calgary-based company, and they use it's not really transparent what ingredients they use. Like they use an elderflower liqueur. So there's a few of those on the market. But yeah, they put all the ingredients together, make it nice and balanced.
And it even has the directions on top of it to, for the foam of a shaken cocktail, this is what you want to do and how to do it. And it was totally foamy to start.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, exactly. Yeah, follow those directions on the can, and you'll be good to
Well, that
go.
would be a party favor. I can tell you people right now, this is one that you'd want at a
Well,
party.
It's fun too. Like you can pretend like you're a bartender.
Yes.
Doing the whole cocktail shaker.
Pretend you're Tom
thing,
Cruise for a day.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Yeah.
You don't even have to throw the bottles up and break them. That's a little too ridiculous. You can throw this can up, spin it up and down, catch it, leave it
Absolutely.
closed. There you go.
Put on a
You
little
will be.
show.
That's how you can be the peacock to your wife in the in your bar at home.
It's
okay.
yeah. So
There you
many
go.
benefits to that one.
So many
So
benefits.
many benefits.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Steve, great stuff, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So what are those called? What do they call them again?
RTDs.
RTDs, ready to drink. All right. RTDs. So we checked on today here on Thursday. Have a great one. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Carolina Hurricanes have signed Nikolai Ehlers to a 6-year, $51 million deal the team announced today. Other news in the NHL world is the San Jose Sharks have signed unrestricted free agent defenseman Dmitry Orlov to a 2-year, $13 million contract and claimed Nick Leddy off waivers from the St. Louis Blues. Sad news out of the sporting world today as Liverpool player Diogo Jota and his brother were killed in a car accident in Spain when the Lamborghini they were in veered off the road and burst into flames. Diogo was 28 and his brother was 25. Week 5 of the CFL kicks off tonight with the Blue Bombers in Calgary, a 7 p.m. kickoff for that one. MLB scores just one game in action right now. Rockies lead the Astros 5-3 at the top of the 7th, and earlier today was the Marlins over the Twins 4-1. Toronto Blue Jays will be back in action with a 5:07 first pitch out in Toronto as they play host to the Yankees. Chris Bassett on the mound for the Jays in that one. And Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight in local baseball for the final game of their series against Port Angeles, a 7:05 first pitch down at Remax Field. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440,
A Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $2.99. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Your hard hat and huddle up. Your Edmonton Elks take on the Ottawa Red Blacks this Sunday at 5. It's the first ever hard hat huddle game, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger, featuring excavators and diggers in the tailgate and construction-themed in-game contests. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at goelks.com.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe, and some other issues that might surprise you like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
After 3 o'clock, welcome back, Jason Gregor, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely day. Of course, Jays tonight, a chance to move into first place on their own in the AL East. Them and the Yankees are 48 and 39. And hey, don't count out the Rays. They're 48 and 38 for the Yanks and Blue Jays, 48 and 39 for the Tampa Bay Rays. So a tight race. Detroit is crushing everybody in the Central. There's really no race. They're 12 and a half games up on Cleveland, and Houston has a pretty good lead over Seattle. It's 7 games. Both of those teams with 54 and 52 wins. But, right now, the first and second wildcard spots looks like they're coming from the AL East. And then even Boston at 43 wins, they're only 2 back of Seattle. So I get, in theory, there's a chance you could have 4 teams from the AL East. in the 6 playoff spots. I have to go back and look. It hasn't been 6 playoff spots very often for that many years, but I don't think I've ever seen 4 from one division. So that'd be quite unique. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, your place to get in the game. And hey, look at the Jays tonight. They got the odds boost on that one as well as CFL. And the Jays tonight at home. How about this? The Jays at home, underdog. Ooh. If you're feeling the Jays with Bassett on the mound, might want to get in at PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Jordan Baker's going to join us a little bit later on this hour. The Stingers are red hot. As always, we got some order texts, some Elks texts. Hey, guys, Anthony Villiers a decent playoff guy. You think he could be had for very little? Well, you know what? Here we are. It's day 3 of free agency, and there are some teams still with, with cap space. If we look at 95.5, there's lots of teams that have a significant amount of cap space, but then Minnesota has a lot of cap space. However, they got to sign Marco Rossi, or I guess trade him. But let's say minimum, he's going to take up $5 million. But that would still leave them $5 million. So they got a fair amount of space if you're looking at it that way. Luke Evangelista needs a contract in Nashville. I don't think he's going to get that high of a number, but so they got a fair amount of space left. The Carolina Hurricanes. How about this? The Carolina Hurricanes have signed the 2 biggest contracts in total dollars so far this summer, getting Nikolai. Oh, no, that's not true. Obviously, as new players, I guess if you want to say it, because Mitch Marner got his 8-year deal. But Nikolai Ehlers, 8.5. And they got on the back end, Keandre Miller, 7.5. You got Sam Bennett. He came in, didn't go to a new team, though. 8 times 8. So you look at Carolina, and I guess it's fair to say that gone are the days of their owner being uber frugal. Now, we'll see, though, because I don't know if you heard the story about Mikko Rantanen. You only get one first impression. And he gets traded. He was very surprised by the trade, brings his girlfriend, and they put her up in a hotel kind of near the airport, not downtown. I know it just right away, it puts him. Why? Because it's cheaper. It just put him in a bad light. It's a small thing, but you don't do that. That's, you know what? You put her out there. They were on the road. It was a small thing. And maybe some people say, hey, shouldn't care, but little details do matter. Small little details matter when other teams are doing all the little things to help out. So if you come from a place that does the little things and then you go to an organization that doesn't do the little things, it's very noticeable. Very noticeable. So. Hey, Greggs, what do you think of the Oilers? Are they done? Do you think Stan Bowman now takes the summer off? Or are they always looking? I think you're always looking. You know, we heard about the Isaac Howard. They had, made a serious trade offer. It was refuted. Does that mean you don't circle back later and say, hey, what are you thinking? Is the term, this is on the table. Tampa Bay maybe is going to wait. Because here we are. It's July 3rd. You're not, if a guy offers you a trade and you don't like it because maybe you think you can get more, you don't have to rush. And you go to the guy. Now, are the Oilers going to make another trade that means that then they couldn't acquire Howard? I guess it's possible, but probably a little bit unlikely. So I don't think Stan Bowman is, if he's doing his job, you're always open for business. You're always listening. You're always calling. You're looking at it. We got some text. Hey, Gregor, I hear the Oilers are still looking for a goalie. Now, I don't know if you can say that, but I'll say this. Now, would they be open to adding a goalie? Of course. Are they actively looking for one? Now, that's different. I think those are two different things. You can be interested in a goalie without really, picking up the phone and calling everybody every day. Hey, you got to go. I want a goalie. You want to trade this guy? You want to trade this guy? Hey, Buffalo, maybe you try to get Devin Levi out of Buffalo. Now, the Sabres might say, what are you doing? We're just going to be patient here. We're going to let him just percolate in the minors and get better. Now, Devin Levi might be like, hey, I want to be in the NHL. So I understand that, right? There's the salary factor. for a young guy like that. Now, he's been in the organization since, he came out of college. He played 7 games at the end of the 23 season. Then in 23-24, he split his time, 23 games in NHL, 26 games in the American League. Last year, he played basically in the American League. He got 9 NHL games, but played 42 in the minors and was pretty good at 919, 927. So he probably looks and says, hey, I think I'm ready to go. But the organization, I wonder what they're doing in Buffalo with their goaltending, because they have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Alex Lyon, and of course, Devin Levi, right? They signed Alex Lyon 2 years at 1.5. Now, I guess you could always say, well, we're going to waive him. Now, the difference is Devin Levi doesn't require waivers. You just send him down. So that to me is a story to watch. And that's why but Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, he's got a 4.75 cap hit. People have talked about, Edmonton's interested. Edmonton ain't interested in that. They'd have to move Skinner and someone else to bring him in. Basically another $3 million player to make that trade. Well, $2 million and a bit to make that trade work. So, it would be other parts. I don't know if I see that realistic. Now, Devin Levi is different. He's an RFA. And now he doesn't qualify for an offer sheet, for anybody wondering. Hasn't played enough games, so I can't get an offer sheet. I'm sure, because he would have been a candidate for, I think, a lot of teams to look for in an offer sheet. Young goalie. You've got you just signed your guys. Now they might match it and then want to trade him, but it would be interesting. Hey, Gregor, I wonder what they're doing in Buffalo. Period. From Dylan. Touche. Man, it's hard because, and I understand it. He hasn't been there for the full 14 years, but he's been there for 5 years, right? And that's the thing. So, did you know that Pittsburgh, when they signed Dubas, gave him a 7-year deal as the GM? I just found that out. 7-year deal. Now, when you take a step back and you look and say, okay, when he took over, when you're negotiating, you say, hey, guys, this is not going to be a quick fix. We're going to try to build up some capital. And I'll give them credit that the Pittsburgh Penguins have no doubt build up capital when it comes to draft picks, right? So think about it. They got 3 first-rounders next year, 2 the year after that, 1 in 28, and they've got 7 second-rounders just in the next 3 years. So, 3 first-rounders. They've got 6 in the first 3 rounds, 6 in the first 3 rounds, and then 4 in the first 3 rounds. So they got 16 picks in the first 3 rounds the next 3 years. So they've acquired, some decent assets, but only 3 of those are first-rounders. So is it better? Yes, but it's not great. They're trying to, I don't think they want to go full rebuild. They want to try to retool on the fly, but find a way somehow to get that last year or 2 of Crosby so he retires in Pittsburgh and they're competitive. That's really what they want. Now, Crosby might play for 4 more years and he might just stay in Pittsburgh. He signed for 2 years and then he might sign again for 2 years. I have no idea. But it is a tough one. So the GM said, you know what? If you think it's going to be 4 years for us to get better and I sign a 5-year deal, I really only have 1 year to try to make my team good. So he says, give me 7 years. Now you're committed. And I know you're not just going to fire me after 2. Well, I guess they could fire him after 2 years, but that's a pretty big commitment from the organization to have to pay a GM 5 years not to be your GM. But Buffalo, they're in a different spot. So it's 5 years now for their GM. But the problem is the Sabres haven't gotten any better, right? They haven't gotten any better. So how can you say, man, Kevin Adams, we like what he's doing? Well, why? So when he took over, he hadn't made the playoffs in 14 years. Well, now he's taken over and they haven't made the playoffs for 5 seasons. And all you got to do is just look at where they were. They went to 8. They had a few years where they went 5th and were close. Right? They had 91 points in 2023. That's when it looked like, okay, you know what? They're trending upward. 75 points, 68 points, 76 points, boom, 91 points or better. Then they fell back down to 84 points. Not really close to the playoffs. This year, farther away again. So think about it. They went up, and now they've gone back down. The peak was 91 points, 84 and 79 in the last 2 years, 75 and 68. Well, prorated 37 and 56. So if you prorate, that's even worse. So it's like 68 points, maybe even no less than that. So like 64 points. So we improved, and now we're going back. And if you look at their team, does anybody believe the Sabres are better? Now there's the Bowen Byram. They're going to trade him. Everybody thinks maybe he'll get an offer sheet. He's an RFA. So what are they doing? It's a great question, Dylan. I don't know. If you were a Sabres fan, it would be rather frustrating. Hey, Gregor, the Oilers only have cap space to swap for a new backup. Camrose Chris. Like I said, you can look at anything. They could always trade someone else, right? If you're Stan Bowman, you can't just say, I can't make a trade because I only have $1 million in cap space or $1.5 million. No, you look and say, hey, all right, I might have to trade someone I didn't want because this is really going to give me someone I really want. That's what it's going to come down to. I was never in love with any of the free agent goalies. I wasn't sure any of the free agent goalies were a clear upgrade on Skinner. They might have been different, but I'm not sold they would have been better. So they opted to stick with what they have. They are going to change. I am certain that they're changing the goalie coach on the team. And here's another reason why I believe that, because if you look at their rookie camp, right? Jeff Saleko, who's one of their goalie scouts, he's running the rookie camp. He's out there working with the goalies. So wouldn't your goalie coach be doing that? Right? He's your organizational goalie coach. Wouldn't he be on the ice doing it? So we'll see kind of where it goes in that regard. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll return, and we're going to talk about one of the hottest teams going right now next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for three-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Don't miss the Sunday Showdown, July 6th at 4 p.m. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. thestingers.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Hey, I know you're new here, but we carry multiple brands.
Okay. Hi there, this is Riverside Motorsports, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, Polaris, Gas, Husqvarna, Tibbersled, Stasic, Talaria, Climb, Thor, Alpine Stars, 509, Troy Lee Designs, and more. Sales, how can I help you?
Located on St. Albert Trail, rideriverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at Cattail Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17, it combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense. Since 1963, Bashaw Concrete Products has been helping Albertans complete projects of all sizes. The highest quality ready mix and grout, septic tanks made to last, prompt delivery. Like I said, they're always happy to help. In fact, they'll even find you a nearby concrete finisher for your next project. Maybe it's a foundation for a home or a shop floor, or you're thinking decorative concrete. Nice. They'll recommend someone as dependable as Bashaw Concrete Products. Visit bashawconcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Party people!
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at sherbrooke.liquor.com.
Jason Gregor, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. Also, the Summer 100 code is up and running. In case we had a few people yesterday. Yes, there was some sort of glitch, but it's all good at PlayAlberta.ca. As we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. One of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta, 4 divisions in solar. They got TAG. I'll help you on anything. Even just a simple thing. You need the big ladder truck to come out, help you fix stuff high off the ground. They can do that at actionelectrical.net. And speaking of high right now, how about this? For the last month, they are rolling. The Edmonton Stingers have been crushing teams. Their offense is killing it. And they have reeled off 4 straight wins. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. And head coach and GM, when he talked to us earlier, he said, you know what? I feel our team is going to take a while, but we're going to find our stride. And, man, might have to buy a lottery ticket because he knows how to predict the future, as we are joined once again by Jordan Baker. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Well, Jordan, it's like, I don't know how coaches know it sometimes, but your teams, especially offensively, like you guys have been pounding points, like pretty much 90 points every game. Even the one game you lost 95-91. Like you've been a 90-point team, 100-point team, 98 here for the last month. What have you liked best about your offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously Sean East II has done a great job for us leading the way, but every other night it's, been somebody else chipping in. And, we played a couple of games with, 6 or 7 guys in double figures. So, we're difficult to scout and difficult to play against when everybody's contributing on offense.
I know that you talk about, hey, we want to be a team where everybody scores, but now you have a big time scorer. It sure makes it like everybody else can score, but we got one guy who can really score. From a coaching perspective, like, do you have to alter and say, we just got to get this guy the ball more just because he's scoring so much?
No, I mean, I think he does a great job. If you look at the numbers, he's shooting, north of 50% from both, the floor and then from 3-point land. So, for him, he's not forcing anything. Every shot that he takes is a good shot. And, we don't necessarily change what we do to get the ball in his hands. The team understands the talent that he's got, and they do a great job of finding him in situations. But, we always encourage playing fast and finding opportunities. And, if you do the right thing, the ball will get into your hands. And, lucky for us, gets in his hands quite often.
You know, early in the year, you had some wins, but they were close wins. Lately, your wins haven't been close, Jordan. As a coach, you know, you're on the sideline, and I know that the rule here, you play to a certain point, but you guys, like, there's winning, and then there's dominating. And lately, you've really dominated. Like, how much less stress is it for the head coach in games that you've had in control for long stretches?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, you know, a testament to our depth that, you know, when we go to our bench and our opponent goes to their bench, you know, our lead grows. And now that we're able to do that, now that we've got a few more of our, you know, established pros in town, you know, that, like you said, results in some double-digit victories and makes target time a little bit less stressful. But, yeah, you know, it keeps our starters fresh for that fourth quarter push. And, you know, we're rolling out 10, 11 guys every single night to try to, you know, play fast and keep a tempo that we like.
Jordan Baker, head coach of the Stingers, they're back in action Sunday against the Calgary Surge. Huge game. The Surge are 8-4. I think they got a game before you guys on Sunday, though. But, you know, you just look at this matchup. Calgary's given you guys some trouble a little bit this year. You obviously did get a little revenge in your last meeting. It was a close game. What is it about the Surge that, you know, you have to respect for you on the defensive side of the ball? What do you have to take away from them offensively?
Yeah, I mean, they're extremely talented and extremely athletic team. So if you turn the ball over, they're basically putting 2 points away. It's, you know, it's a situation where we got to be extremely disciplined on offense because, you know, if we're not shooting good shots and we're not taking care of the basketball, they get easy ones in transition, and they are, you know, the most dynamic team in the league by far, you know, in the open court. So for us, we've got to make sure our execution is high. You know, our defensive transition is crisp, and, you know, we got to make sure they have to play 5 against 5 every single possession. No odd man advantages, no run outs, no dunks, because that's what, you know, feeds their energy and momentum.
Conversely, for you, Jordan, how would you describe what makes your offense so dangerous that the teams now have to respect and try to counter?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you look at the percentages, we're shooting, you know, best in the league from 3. So, you know, teams got to respect us from beyond the arc. And that opens up things in the interior for some of our, you know, more dynamic athletes. So we're a real inside-outside team. You know, we've got scoring at every position, and, you know, we try to be unselfish as possible.
Mason Boursier, you know what, you know, bigger guy. When you look at him, would you like to see more offense from him, or are you liking what he brings in other elements?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job coming in and really setting the tone for us defensively. You know, he's a guy that's going to see the toughest matchup every single night to start the game. You know, we've got lots of former G League and NBA players, and he matches up with the best of them. And he hassles them and makes their lives difficult. And, you know, if he gives us a couple of shots and a couple of buckets on the other end, then that's an added bonus. But for him, he knows what his job is, and that's to be disruptive and give us a little bit more of a defensive identity than we had, you know, prior to him signing on.
Jordan Baker joins us, head coach of the Stingers. And Jordan, your team is on a roll. Like, it's been a month, right? So it's not just like a hot streak of a weekend or two. It's basically been a month. You're 7-1. You've had a lot of convincing victories. What are you looking at then to improve here down the stretch, getting closer to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things we want to improve on. You know, we're still fighting to get teams under that 80-point mark defensively. That's where we need to be, because, you know, if we have an off night shooting the basketball, we still want to be in a position to win handily. You know, obviously our defensive rebounding numbers aren't great either. You know, teams are going to look to get second opportunities and crash the glass hard. So for us, we've always got metrics that we can turn to and say, hey, these need to be better. You know, our defensive rebounding certainly is a priority for us. But yeah, I mean, other teams are going to bring in new players and catch their stride and feel a little bit more cohesive as a team. So for us, it's not about, you know, staying put. It's trying to find ways to continue to improve and be more cohesive and, you know, continue, like you said, with the hot streak we've been on here.
So how do you improve your defensive rebound? How do you work on that in practice?
Well, I mean, you know, it's a summer league, so I'm not trying to get guys too beat up.
Yeah.
So we're not doing a ton of, you know, physical, you know, rebounding drills. What we try to do is we reward offensive rebounding, you know, and our guys are a competitive group. So if you're given an additional point or two for any offensive rebound, that's going to result in a little bit of a consequence. If you lose the drill, then, it's between the ears, the mindset, the mentality. How do we get better at that area? And by adding a score to it, it switches guys' brains on a little bit better.
Well, Jordan, always good to catch up with you. Continued success. I know the crowds are getting bigger and they're getting more excited. There's lots of reasons to come down. A huge Battle of Alberta rivalry Sunday, 4:00. Best of luck.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and we don't have another home game until August because K-Days takes over the Expo Center here. So it's kind of your last opportunity to get out and see a game before August. Yeah,
that's true. You guys don't have a home game again until I'm looking at it. And oh my God, until like when is your next home game? Yeah, it's a while, like August something. So that'll be
August 1st, I believe.
Okay,
is our next home game after Sunday. So yeah, he talked about a hot streak. Well, we'll see if we can continue that while we are on the road for a few straight games.
Yeah, 4-game road trip after this. Well, thanks for your time and best of luck on Sunday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. That's a 4:00 tip-off Sunday down at Expo Center. If you've never been to a Stingers game, I'll tell you two things. A, the vantage point is unreal to watch the game. Like you're right on top of everybody at the Expo Center. And B, you take your kids, the cost of food and pop and whatever there, even your beer is unreal. $5, you can get chicken fingers for $5. Tell me where you can get that anywhere else. And it's good. So, and the popcorn, it's like $2, like as popcorn should be, not a $20 bag, $2. So it's a great value for entertainment, but also if you like to have a little bit of food or beverages while you're watching the game. So the Stingers, of course, home to Calgary, and then they're not back home until they take on Vancouver, which should be a hell of a game on the 1st of August. And then they got the 3rd of August, the 8th and the 10th. And then that wraps up the regular season. And boom, we're into the playoffs. So it's going quick. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Will return. There's always, there's no shortage of topics when it comes to moving up and down. And we just got through free agent frenzy and trades and leaving teams. We'll get into kind of a different discussion on leaving a team next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense. When you look at a pipe, you just see a pipe. But at GS Construction, we know it's not just a pipe. It's the future water flowing to a growing family's home or the sewer line for a new school. At GS Construction, we know every trench we dig connects people to what matters. And if you'd like to be part of that vision of making a better future, we're hiring. Right now, GS Construction is looking for experienced foremen to join our team. So apply today at gsconstruction.ca. GS Construction, underground with purpose.
Grab your hard hat and huddle up. Your Edmonton Elks take on the Ottawa Redblacks this Sunday at 5. It's the first ever hard hat huddle game, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger, featuring excavators and diggers in the tailgate and construction-themed in-game contests. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at goelks.com.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
The crow of the rooster, the drip of the coffee maker, the creak of the shed door, the turning over of the tractor, the rustle of debris, the loading of the trailer, the building of the pile, the strike of the match, the burst of flame, the driving back to the house, the twist of the bottle top, the feet up after a job done, the rolling into bed, the wind hitting the windows, the wondering if the pile was fully out, the fear that it's too late, the panic to get your family and neighbors out in time. 63% of Alberta's wildfires were started by people. Don't be that person. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, it's Culligan.com.
$343. Welcome back. I have a very outside the box thing because it's very different. Things we do in North America are just different than how they do it in Europe. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And, you know, in a lot of those leagues, you have a guy who's playing for a team, but then he's signed to go to a new team before his season ends. He already knows he's leaving and he signs. I don't know. It's so different, but over there, they're like, yeah, it's no big deal. Like, whatever. They're still professional. They finished this season. Like, could you imagine if free agency started on April 30th? And yeah, you finish out that year, but guys are signing. So you could be in the playoffs and be like, yeah, I'm playing on this team, but I have a chance to go to the next year. Like, imagine the chaos. It would just be wild. It's never going to happen, but it's interesting. The reason I bring that up is it's time to go to the race report brought to you by Cantork, where guess what? Everything is made right here in Edmonton. You want to support Canada? You support Cantork. Beat the tariffs at cantork.com. Colin Livingston joins us once again. I wanted to bring that up because in F1 right now, they call it the silly season because, you know, they're coming up on the break and there's all the rumors, and it got bigger because George Russell, who just won in Canada for the second consecutive season, he's having a pretty good year in Mercedes. And he's like, well, my contract talks not really going anywhere because I know that Mercedes is talking with Max Verstappen. And obviously they're not going to have Russell and Verstappen, I wouldn't think, on the same team. Although you did have Russell and Hamilton, so it's possible. But the fact that he said that, Colin, Michael, like, why can't they have both? Or is that just not possible?
They definitely could, but I think history has shown that Max, I don't want to say Max doesn't play well with others, but when he's on the only time he's really had someone that could challenge him long-term was when he joined the team with Danny Ricciardo. Those guys were going back and forth. And like in teams past, you know, Mercedes, forget about Hamilton and Russell. When it was Hamilton and Rosberg, those two took each other out more than anyone else ever took them out.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I think it comes down to cash. I mean, Mercedes is board run, it's shareholder owned, while Toto Wolff is the majority owner of Mercedes F1 AMG, he still has to go to the Mercedes board for approval. And the numbers that Max will command,
like what would he command?
I'm gonna guess about 50 million euro a year. 50 million. I don't know if they get paid in dollars or euro, but in that neighborhood. I think right now he's somewhere in 35 to 45. Like the top 4 in F1 are probably the only guys in the majority of motorsport that get to make that kind of money and get that kind of power. But that's a separate topic. You know, Max can essentially decide where he's going to go, and the world will unfold to make that happen because he is that good and he's worth every penny. You know, Lewis has that as well, but because Lewis can translate so much, like the difference between these two drivers is almost nothing. They're if you put them in truly equal cars, it'd be really hard to decide who's the better driver. Max is way more on his game right now, but Lewis brings a legion of fans. He does so much sponsor activation. He gets so much merchandise out there that there's another way that they make money on him. But yeah, this Max to Mercedes thing has been around for a while, but this week it really started to ramp up. So, you know, it's kind of funny because that's the story, and that's bigger than what we saw last weekend in Austria. It's probably going to be bigger than what we see this weekend at Silverstone.
So let's say they decided to take Verstappen to Mercedes.
Yep.
Does Russell automatically go to Aston Martin, or is there to Red Bull, or is Aston Martin better for him? Because Red Bull, you showed me the numbers and I was like, what? Now I know that Verstappen crashed in one of those, but over their last 3 races, they have 19 points. Sauber Audi has 20. They have more, and this is a 3-race span that they have accumulated more points than Red Bull. It's mind-blowing.
There's been a lot of talk. Nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. Everyone can talk about, you know, you can tell by this or you can tell by that. You can't. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors with Red Bull, with any of these. But the fact that beside Max, for the last many years have been drivers that were otherwise stable, were otherwise well-performing. And the second they get into that other seat, they have so much trouble, whether it was, you know, Perez did well in the beginning, and he did well until the new car, and really had to start overdriving and caused a lot of damage and really cost them Constructors Championship. Liam Lawson, now Yuki Tsunoda, they're all being made to look, you know, pretty bad, which means, you know, it definitely indicates that car is a handful. And even Max has started dropping down the grid. Like in Austria, I think he qualified 5th. For Max Verstappen, that's not good enough. So it's a mess, and Red Bull is really, really struggling. This all starts to stem from the behind the scenes stuff with Christian Horner, and, you know, the legal issues that he's facing. That, you know, as much as we always say in racing, it's all about winning and winning and winning. There are some people that stand on ethics and morals, and, you know, that's how Adrian Newey was, you know, was open to leave that group, and then Jonathan Wheatley left, and now there's the infighting between him and Helmut Marko, and Jos Verstappen is fighting for his stuff, and it's just a mess. And the thing is, it's not getting better. It's, you know, at some point they're going to hit the bottom. But, you know, Ted Kravitz made a comment that car is so bad, if Max leaves, they're suddenly a last place team. And it's a lot of speculation, but I don't think he's far off.
Really? It's funny that you say that, because Red Bull, because I just actually started watching the Tour de France. Like, they kind of have their F1 version on Netflix of Tour de France cycling.
Yeah.
Dude, I was blown away by what I watched in the first few episodes. Like, that is, like, you look at race car and they're going fast and everything. These cyclists, like this one guy, he kind of got ran off and he got basically like pile drived into the turnbuckle on a cycle. And then he has his face all scarred up and he's lost 10 teeth. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on here? Like, So, and Red Bull had just gotten into that, but they
wow.
spent a lot of money. And so they're clearly not going in the right direction. There's a lot of infighting that's going on. If they bottom out, how long would it take them to get back?
Right now, the rumored amount is $100 million to get Max out of his contract. Like,
who would have to pay that? The new team?
Max, but if another team is willing to sign him to get him to break the contract, they would have some agreement where they pay a percentage, they pay the whole thing because they just want him.
So Max would pay $100 million. How many years left does he have in his contract?
3. So he's got till 2028. But based on the fact that he's getting, 35, 40 million, dollars, pounds, euro per year, that kind of stands to reason that it's roughly, that's what he's got left on his contract.
And so the rules are he'd have to pay them to get out of the contract?
To break the contract. But he's also apparently got exit clauses. So if he's
there's
not in
certain
this position,
points, yes.
or if the team's not in the top,
Yes.
whatever, then he can go to the team and say, look, I'm executing clause this, and I won't be with you next year. So that's where I think a lot of this is coming down.
Now let's get to the race. Last weekend it was delayed by 10 minutes. Williams couldn't get off the line. He finally got moving, and then boom, there was the fire. He was done. So that was kind of brutal for them. What was kind of your takeaway that stood out the most for you last weekend?
Well, first of all, that science incident was the first time that they've implemented this new restart procedure. Last year in Brazil, there was an issue where they were coming to the green. It was wet. They had thrown the caution as they approached the line. Lando Norris kind of took a jump, and it was, I always have to remember we're on radio because the word that popped into my head, I know I definitely can't say, but let's just say it was a
bleep
mess.
show.
It was a mess, and this was the first time that they've actually used that new regulation. So because Sainz wasn't able to leave, he said his car was stuck in first gear. The field came back around. Just as the field was about to catch him, he was able to drive away. But once they had executed this, there was a 10-minute gap to let the field come around. Right. All the team can come service the car, get this cooled down, get this warmed up. So that was really interesting. Lap traffic was a disaster in Austria. Now, Austria is one of the shortest tracks.
Yes.
It's about, they qualify in, minute 4, minute 5, race pace is a minute 8, minute 9. So you're always in traffic, especially after a few laps. The field just spreads out. But, Yuki was very, very, he was blind to the traffic. Colapinto had some issues with it. Which is something that has to be addressed. Like even on the F1 TV broadcast, they tend to not get too critical of drivers, and they tend to not get too excited. Aside from Alex Jakes, who's the main broadcaster, but Coulthard and Jolyn Palmer were both very critical. Like, listen, the leader isn't racing you guys, and you guys are affecting potentially affecting the outcome of the race. Like Piastri got run off the track. He had two tires in the grass, and the only reason he didn't crash was because he just got really lucky that he was able to hold on to the car. So something that has to be addressed. There was a lot of penalty time. There were a bunch of drivers that got penalty points, but that was probably the biggest thing. And that McLaren just laid an ass whomping down. Like, I mean, they finished within about 2 seconds of each other, and then Leclerc was 20 seconds back.
Yeah.
So like, while Ferrari could be happy to be the second place team, they're still a mile away. Like their upgrades seem to work. Mercedes really struggled. Obviously Antonelli took out Verstappen. That's another little side thing that maybe is indication, or maybe Max is just maturing, but the fact that Max didn't have an outburst. He just said, we've all made that mistake in racing, and I know it wasn't intentional. That's not a typical Max Verstappen thing to say. So, maybe there is some merit to the fact that it was Mercedes.
Yeah, I was just going to say it was Antonelli, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll be great teammates next year.
Well, Toto Wolff has changed his tune based on the way he's talking about Verstappen. So I don't know. If you connect the dots, it really looks that way. But, until it's done, it's never done.
Colin Livingston joins us in the Cantork Racing Report. Moving ahead to Silverstone. And you look at what's coming up this weekend. And the Lewis Hamilton has a lot of success on this track. Like people that play golf probably can attest to this. There's just certain tracks you just play better at. It just doesn't matter. Like, you know what? You're struggling. Oh, hey, let's go to my favorite course. And all of a sudden you find your game. Well, that's him at Silverstone. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's unthinkable about how good he is. Obviously, Lewis is British. This is his home track. Like, the stats are ridiculous. I think his average finish is like it's inside 3, thirds.
It's 2.95 because he's had 19 starts. He's had 9 wins and 7 pole positions.
Yeah. Like he's only finished off of the podium 4 times out of 19 races. So like, even when you no matter how good you are, there's also a bit of luck. Like, that means he's never really had, like, in the early days, there were some, I think he had a 16th or an 18th place finish or something, but he's never really had mechanical issues. Even the one year, I think it was 2021, he had 2 flat tires. He lost a tire coming to the white flag. His the left rear punctured, and then the left front punctured. He had a big enough lead that he drove around the last lap and still won the race with 2 flat tires.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, you can look. I mean, it's crazy. They were that good back then. That's
pretty like it's almost arrogant good, but I respect it.
Yeah,
I respect
it. Like, this is.
So you're saying we should bet on Lewis to get on the podium this weekend?
Boy, this year has not given me a lot of hope. But if anyone can take a 4th, 5th, 6th place car and somehow manage to get a 2nd or 3rd place finish, it'll be Lewis this weekend.
NASCAR Canada is coming back to Alberta. They'll be in Wetaskiwin on the 12th of July. I know you'll be working out there. Ranger, Kennington, Kevin Lacroix. Anybody that you see as maybe a favorite?
Well, it's got to be DJ right now. I mean, he managed to pick up the win last weekend in Riverside. But he and Kevin Lacroix, they kind of went back and forth. I didn't get to see the whole race, but our good friends over at Thiege Motorsports, they had some really bad luck. Donald was quick, qualified up front on the opening lap, first corner, kind of got pinched down, made some contact with the car on the outside and broke the car on the first lap at the first corner. So didn't really get to see what Donald was capable of. I know they're going to be really motivated when they come out here to finally get Donald his first win. I mean, candidly, on the oval, no one's really quicker on a single lap than Donald. His big issue was that he tends to drive very pissed off when bad stuff happens. Like he ends up, I don't want to chuck him under the bus, but he drives very
too aggressive,
very, very mean. Like, and he ends up generally doing more damage to his car than what's needed. But the last couple of years, Donald's really raced smart. He's kind of channeled that aggression and now just gets mired in a bunch of bad luck. So he'll be one to watch for sure. But yeah, between, DJ and Lacroix, the track is definitely completely different at Antigonish than it is here. There's lots of banking, decent straightaways, where Wetaskiwin is really, really short, pretty flat. You've got to really get your car to work, because if you're off by a little bit, especially in the first half, you can go down a lap and then you're fighting the rest of the day.
How's the karting going? Getting back into it?
Slow but sure. Fat guy, I've had some medical issues. I've had some illness that really put me behind. Not making excuses. It's just that, no matter what, these cars the carts don't definitely drive themselves. I'm pretty happy with how things have been going on track. Last week, I managed to set the fastest lap in the race in my class, even though I wasn't really racing anyone. I was just kind of out on my own, let the pack go away, and I, build a gap, and then I'd, run a charge lap. But, the fact that I can still turn one fast lap shows me I can still drive. I need to work on my conditioning. It was a fairly eventful week last week. There seemed to be a lot of incident. But now I'm off. I went out and ran test laps yesterday, but I missed the next 2 weeks thanks to the Carius tournament, and then we'll be in Saskatoon the week after for NASCAR. So I'm going to have to find some time to sneak out there and keep running laps. Otherwise, when we get to August, I'm just going to die.
Yeah, well, there you go, buddy. We will chat with you next Thursday. Get out racing. It's a Racing Report brought to you by Can Torque. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Ewell, your partner in power. For any electrical gear, you think Ewell. EWEL since 1975.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The Carolina Hurricanes have signed Nikolai Ehlers to a 6-year, $51 million deal the team announced earlier today. Other NHL signings include the San Jose Sharks signing unrestricted free agent defenseman Dmitry Orlov to a 2-year, $13 million deal. They also claimed Nick Leddy off waivers from the Blues. Sad news in the sporting world is Liverpool player Diego Jota and his brother were killed in a car accident in Spain earlier today. Diego was 28 and his brother Andre was 25. Week 5 of the CFL does get going tonight with the Blue Bombers in Calgary, a 7 p.m. kickoff for that one. And 2 finals in the MLB from earlier today was the Rockies over the Astros 7-6 and the Marlins over the Twins 4-1. Coming up in about 45 minutes time, we will see the Tigers and Nats. And at 5:07, it's the Blue Jays playing host to the New York Yankees. Chris Bassett on the mound for that one. A shock upset in Wimbledon today as 4th-seeded and Brit Jack Draper went out in the second round to former Grand Slam champion Marin Cilic. And the Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight down at Remax Field. A 7:05 first pitch, the final game of their series against Port Angeles. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440. Stingray radio station. CKJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
Can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC Terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Stingray All Good Vibes on Prime Video offers you thousands of concerts, karaoke songs, and relaxing nature scenes on demand. Benefit from the Prime Day promotion between July the 2nd to the 11th.
Let's go, girls.
Subscribe today to receive 2 months of service at 99 cents per month. Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for concerts, karaoke, and more. Prime subscription is required.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all cheddar lovers, try Papa John's new cheddar crust one-topping pizza for only $17.99. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app.
YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely Thursday. Of course, sports fans in Edmonton, you got no shortage of options. You got, of course, Riverhawks. They're playing well. You got them tonight, Friday, Saturday. Sunday's a triple header. You got the Riverhawks, then you got the Stingers, and you have the Elks going on. Now, you could do 2 out of 3. I guess you could go to the start of the because the Riverhawks is a 1, so you go to that game, and then you could wheel right over to the Stingers game. Starts at 4. Elks games starts at 5. So if you wanted to, you could actually catch the second half of the Elks game. Would be quite the triple header for the diehard sports fan in town. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. If you're a real diehard sports fan, you could coming up. I think it just started. Well, it's actually over now, but you did have the 3-on-3 Oilers prospect tournament game that went on today at 2:00. And some of you might have went and even watched that, because I know there's diehard fans in town that would have went to see it just out of curiosity's sake down at the community rink. Hey, Gregor, if Nurse is a UFA this past Tuesday, what do you think he would be offered? Is the overpay difference now only about $1 million? People thinking he would get $6 million are delusional from West End Rob. Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I've always said Nurse, when he signed, you know what, was probably an $8 million defenseman at that point, and away you would have ran. People saying $6 million, I think, are just all you got to do is look at minutes played and production 5-on-5 and everything else. So $6 million is something that people say to make themselves feel better, and that's okay. But and it's opinion, but it's no different than the term. He would have got way more in the open market. Really? Right? People were saying Gavrikov was going to get 8. What did he get on the open market? 7. Right? The open market varies. All it takes is one GM and one team to think, hey, this guy is worth this, right? People were like, Jake Allen's going to get $5 million if he goes to the open market. He signed for 1.8 for 5 years. Now, if he was going to get 5, I'm sure he might have said, well, I'll just sign for 2 years at 5. After that, I can always sign again at 1 million. I'm still going to be ahead. So I think at times stuff gets overblown. And in his opinion, and it's really, you can't say it's wrong because you don't know, but you definitely can't just blindly believe it that it's right. Oh, Sam Bennett would have got 10 million. Are you sure? Now, somebody might have given him 10 million. It doesn't mean it would be a good signing. I just think 8 times 8, I don't think that contract is going to age very well. Personally, I don't. The Brad Marchand, 6 years at 5.25. You think that's aging well? Come on. I know when people say, well, he's not going to finish the last few years. Okay. Does he have 3 good years left? Maybe he does. We'll see. But I think that everybody's entitled to the opinion, but some will talk like it's fact. There's no fact on projections of what guys are going to get made. They get paid. That's their contract. That's what they're worth because someone paid them that. Some might get overpaid. Some might get underpaid. But at the end of the day, that's how it is. So, right? And then some players, somebody might offer you more. Happens lots. Bad teams will offer you more. Doesn't mean you want it. So they're paying you more because they're trying to entice you to come. But does that mean you're worth it? Right? I love what Rich Winter says. I don't want my guys to be overpaid. Now, you could be overpaid a little bit. $500,000, whatever. He's a $7 million player, got 7.5. No one's really going to be going crazy over it. You get into $1 million, $2 million, makes a difference, right? But look at Edmonton. People are freaking out over the Trent Frederick contract. It's a $3.8 million contract in 2 years. And I don't think Trent Frederick, I think Trent Frederick is going to be infinitely better than most people think. Now, keep in mind, how many of you said all year long the Oilers' depth was way worse? Oh my God, it's slow and it's worse. So how come in the playoffs, the depth that you hated with McDavid and Draisaitl off the ice last year in the Cup run, they got outscored 21-12. This year, they outscored teams 25-14. That's a swing of 20 goals. But you text in my show all year, Gregor, what are you talking about? They missed this guy. They missed that guy. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure Ryan McLeod and Warren Fogle are that good that no one else is going to outscore them? Well, it proved to be correct. And the great part is from year to year, like, look at McDavid and Draisaitl. They actually got outscored 5-on-5 in the playoffs. That doesn't mean talked about a ton. And I get it because some people don't want to talk about it, but it's true. They got outscored. Right, you look at games, the Stanley Cup final was 2-2. Games 5 and 6. Without McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice, Edmonton got outscored 2-1. So not great, but 1 goal difference. With them on the ice, they got outscored 5-1 at 5-on-5. Whether it was McDavid and Draisaitl together or each of them on their own separate line. So, hey, Gregor, what about Holloway? Well, did Holloway in the playoffs score a lot, Ben? Was Holloway on the team in the playoffs last year, Ben? Yes or no? Was he? Yeah, he was. And they got outscored 21-12. Now, he was on the ice a little bit with Draisaitl. But all I'm saying is the depth players, 21-12, got outscored last year with McDavid and Draisaitl off the ice. This year, they outscored them 25-14. It doesn't matter who it is. They were better. Right? Dylan Holloway. And oh, by the way, what was the knock on Dylan Holloway? You get injured. Did Dylan Holloway play in the playoffs for St. Louis? No. And I like Dylan Holloway. He had a really good year. I've said it. I would have qualified him. I would have matched him. Not qualified him. I would have matched the offer sheet. I would have. I said it at the time. But the Oilers' depth was not the reason they lost the Stanley Cup. It just wasn't. Okay? Sorry. People want to find points and blame. If you get down to it, because, they wouldn't have got out of the first round. It's a bogus argument. They got out of the first round. I don't really care who played goal. They played 2 goalies all year long, so they played 2 goalies in the first round. Great. Then Skinner came back in and was lights out. Then in the Stanley Cup final, he was okay. He wasn't great, but he was okay. He's not the reason they lost. I don't think you can say there's one reason they lost. Florida played really well. Really well. But when that series was tied 2-2, now it's a best of 3. And the Oilers, by the way, had home ice advantage. Now, only one game in Edmonton, so it wasn't really home ice advantage. But they had that game, and you know what happened? They took too many penalties early. They got down again, and it cost them. Right? That's what cost them. They're playing from behind. Too many penalties early in games in that series. Brutal. And they didn't bury their chances. Right? So if we talk about, Skinner to make the big save, fair. What about your shooters making a big goal? Why is it only the goalie who doesn't make the save? It's never the forward doesn't make the big goal. Why is it only the goalie doesn't make the big save? Right? So, kind of curious by that. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, stop with the facts. It doesn't fit the Oilers fans' misery narrative. Well, there's only a few of those Oiler other ball, Jay. I think there's lots of Oiler fans that were very happy with how the season went. Lots of them. Right? It's frustrating. I get it. You're a fan of the team. You want your team to win. I totally get it. And you can look at lots of different reasons. At the end of the day, Florida played better as a team in the Cup final. And really in games 5 and 6. Right? It was 2-2. Edmonton had managed to come back, and I give them credit. Yes, Florida had a lead, and Edmonton didn't quit, and they came back in the second period. They get full marks for that. They get full marks for it. But in game 5 and 6, couldn't repeat it. It was unfortunate. Because, you know what? Who wouldn't have wanted to see the Oilers win? Well, any Oilers fan would have. Obviously, non-Oilers fans for sure wouldn't have, and I get it. But now we'll see what they do next season. I think the Oilers are going to be good. I know a lot of people, Gregor, the Oilers are terrible. They lost this, they lost that. I'm like, well, let's break down what they lost. Let's go through it. So, because to me, I'm only looking at the first 60 games of the regular season because that's what's going to be looked at until the trade deadline. I fully believe the Oilers will make some additions to their team at the trade deadline. So I look back and say, okay, where were the Oilers at the trade deadline last year? They were in 7th place in the NHL. So not bad. Why? Because their core guys are still here. Their core guys are still here. McDavid's still here. Draisaitel's still here. Bouchard's still here. Ekholm's still here. Hyman, go down the list. They're all still here. So, Corey Perry's gone. Arvidsson's gone. Skinner's gone. Connor Brown's gone. Derek Ryan's gone. Those guys, up until the trade deadline, had combined for 38 goals. Did you know in the 23 games after the trade deadline, the 22 games after the trade deadline, because it was on March 3rd. That's when Victor Arvidsson really kind of heated up. He scored half his goals in the final 20 games of the season. Awesome for him. But in the first 60 up until the deadline, didn't do much. Right? Jeff Skinner, he was okay. So I look and say, Andrew Mangiapane, who's going to get every opportunity to play in the top 6. And by the way, Arvidsson, it's funny because he said, well, you know what? He wants to go somewhere we'll get more opportunity. And I'm like, dude, you just played most of the season with Leon Freak and Draisaitl, and you couldn't score. Now, you didn't get a lot of power play time. Doesn't matter. You got a lot of 5-on-5 time with a guy who did score, and you didn't get any, and you couldn't get many points. I don't have much empathy for Arvidsson claiming he didn't get a great opportunity in Edmonton. What, you want to play with McDavid? Is that why? Because guess what? Draisaitl in the regular season was actually better than McDavid last year. So Mangiapane and Frederick come in because Frederick wasn't here last year in the first 60 games. But he really only played 7 minutes in the regular season. And then you throw in, now there's some question marks, and I think it's fair. Tomasek and Savoy. Matt Savoy has played very minimal NHL games. He will be, I think, tickled looking at the depth chart, knowing I'm going to have a legit shot to make this team. So not that he wouldn't be motivated anyway, but it's easier to be motivated. Man, I would print off the depth chart. Here we go, guys. Just days where you're like, man, I don't really want to work out. You kidding me? I could live out my dream this year. It's awesome. Tomasek comes over. Same thing for him. Man, I'm on a really good team. I might get some shifts with McDavid. I might get some shift with Draisaitl. If not, oh, God, I got to play with Nugent Hopkins or Henrique or Frederick. Like, those are pretty good NHL players, right? He's not playing with the dreads of the decade of darkness. Right? He's not coming in there and he's not playing with Leonard Petrell. No offense, Leonard. Right? Not playing with those guys. Right? He's not playing with the Belanger triangle. He's coming in and playing with some really good players. So do you think it's that hard for those 5 guys to score the 38 goals that those guys had in the first 60 games last year? Because that's what they had up until the deadline. I won't be shocked if they actually produce more, to be honest. They're a little bit quicker. I think Edmonton will be fine. But there's things they need. And I think the deadline. Right shot defenseman, second pair, I want that. I think Edmonton needs it. I think we saw in the playoffs last year, lefties playing the right side, high forecheck on your backhand, wasn't great. So I would look for that. And I think come playoff time, probably need a little bit more bite. So that's another thing you could add. They didn't get, trust me, they didn't get run out of games against Dallas. They actually ran them out of the rink. They didn't run out against Vegas. They did against Florida, one team. Right? Now, you can't just build your whole team for one team that you might meet in the final, but you want to have some pieces that if you do meet them in the final again, you can push back. So I think that's valid. And then goaltending. They'll kind of give them 60 games, see what's happening. Some of you, I can understand if you're like, they should do it now. That's a totally fair point. If you believe that, I can't argue with that. I can say, yeah, I get why you think that way. So we'll see. But any suggestion that the Oilers aren't good, to me, I just find is completely pessimistic and not really backed on anything of logic. Quick break. We'll return. One team has been a big spender in free agency. Biggest splash made today. Did it work? Are they any different any better, or is it just more of the same? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense. Got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk. Some jobs are easy and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Don't miss the Sunday Showdown, July 6th at 4 p.m. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. thestingers.ca.
They are nice, tasting just so right. You can order noodle at noodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order noodle at noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order noodle.ca. Noodle.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the
rocks.
Chat with Brab and 118th.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted, perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming bus events, visit ontherocksyag.com.
X, Instagram. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We're getting the game, and of course, it's the Daily Grand, where you can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. That is $7.3 million. Now you can get a lump sum. Sure, just getting that Gino today. Oof, how fun would that be? Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now to go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. And McDonald's, of course, it's warm, it's hot, you need to cool down. Well, guess what? You can stop in at McD's. $2 Sundays. $2 snack size shake. Maybe you just order on your app and you can get a $1 cone. Try treat the whole neighborhood right now at McDonald's. While you're there, though, you should also they're getting some new the menu heist is happening. World famous flavors only at McDonald's. Some things you've never tried. Stop in; it's like a secret. You'll see it. It was a secret for 3 days, a little longer than maybe people thought. But one of the bigger names in the free agent market made his decision earlier today. And Nikolai Ehlers has decided to sign with the Carolina Hurricanes. 6-year deal at $8.5 million per season. To break it all down, we're joined by Corey Lavalette from the Athletic, covers the Hurricanes. And Corey, now the Canes have been rumbling, been rumored to be chasing Ehlers. Obviously, they landed him. They obviously made the big trade as well. But let's start with Ehlers. And he seems like a Carolina guy. Fast, forechecks hard, really kind of fits in their system. Do you think he'll be a big enough goal scorer, which is obviously something they've always kind of lacked?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, first of all. Yeah, I think, that's a little bit of a concern. He's not really a 30-goal guy. What I think gets overlooked a lot is how good of a goal scorer Sebastian Aho is, how good of a goal scorer Seth Jarvis is. They need Andrei Svechnikov, obviously, to be the Andrei Svechnikov he was in the playoffs, I think. So, yeah, I mean, you still need to make sure you're getting goals. I think Ehlers is going to make whoever he plays with on that top line, surely Sebastian Aho, a better goal scorer. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Aho hit 40 goals this year. He's knocked on that door a couple times, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. So I think kind of he rises all boats a little bit with his vision, his playmaking. Really good in the middle of the ice, and exciting player. He to be honest with you, he reminds me a lot of Martin Necas with the way he can kind of take over a game with his speed and his shiftiness. It never really clicked here fully with Martin Necas, but I think Ehlers is probably a better fit.
Now, Tom Dundon, there'd been some times where maybe like you look at the Sebastian Aho negotiations and then they got the offer sheet was like a gift from Montreal. It was like the easiest offer sheet match ever. But it seems like since, Tulsky's taken over, he said, hey, we're going big here. And they've taken some much bigger swings than they did when Ron Francis was the GM.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's really the Tom Dundon effect, right? They've spent to the cap pretty much every year that he's been the owner. He pretty quickly moved on from Ron Francis. Don Waddell came in, and they've been a cap team. I think, that kind of mentality of him being cheap or whatever kind of comes from the fact that he's going to spend on players. That's what he wants to spend his money on. People come to the arena to see a winning team. So when, you let John Forsland leave, you let Chuck Caton leave, you do moves like that, people think, well, he's pinching pennies on the team, when really he's more just like, a radio announcer, a TV announcer aren't going to be the ones who draw people to be Hurricanes fans. It's going to be the players, and that's where he spends his money.
When you look at their team now, so they add in Ehlers, and then they also made the trade for Keandre Miller. They gave up a first rounder and some, a second rounder and stuff. Keandre Miller, where do you see him like ultimately playing? Who do you see him playing with?
I could see him playing with Jacob Slavin, and I know they're both left-handed, but the Hurricanes are right now have 4 lefties and 2 righties. With Brent Burns moving on and bringing in Miller. Obviously, Orlov's gone too, but he kind of gets replaced by Nikishin. So I think, I would envision that's how they start things. Sean Walker and Slavin played really well together. Is that a top pairing? I don't know. I don't know that Walker necessarily has the offense you'd hope to bring alongside Slavin. And Keandre Miller has shown he can be a 40-point guy in this league. So to me, that's the play, is you move Slavin to the right side, let Miller play his natural side, and see where it goes. But, they could also, play Keandre Miller with Jacob Slavin. With Jalen Chatfield and let Walker play with Slavin to start. And, who knows? Alexander Nikishin is going to factor in way up in that lineup at some point, depending on how quickly he can be an impact player. And they were really impressed with how quickly, after not playing for a while, he was able to kind of round a corner in the playoffs against a really, really good team.
What type of defenseman, for those who don't watch Carolina a lot, Nikishin, what type of defenseman do you think he could be?
Yeah, he's an all-around guy. He's mean. He's willing to go for big hits. He's got a big shot. Somebody said to me the other day, Spencer Martin told them he had the hardest shot on the team already. So big shot, creative with the puck, not just a big lumbering guy. So I think, he's kind of the dream defenseman. If you were to build a defenseman, you want a guy who's big, tough, can, clear guys out in front of his own net, and he can contribute in the offensive end. And that's the hope for him. Now, we've got a small sample size here in North America, so we'll see how quickly that all comes around. But like I said, they were really, really encouraged. They were really skeptical about getting him in there because the language barrier was a problem, and people kind of, scoff at that a little bit. You're in the middle of the playoffs. It's not exactly you have a ton of time to sit down with a guy and spend an hour and a half with him. And Tim Gleason was spending time with him every day. He runs the defense, getting him through stuff and all that. But a training camp is going to do him a world of good. A summer of, being in touch with the team and all that. It's tough with Russian players right now because it's almost impossible to to be in touch with them, and the Hurricanes know better than anybody how to do that, I would say, given the fact that they've drafted so many of them lately. And they've got a good number of them in the room too. So pretty interesting dynamic there. But I think, they're really excited. That first game that he played, there were a lot of mistakes, and they got a little worried, a little gun shy on him. And then he was forced into action. And, I had a couple people in the front office walk up to me and just be like, man, he's going to be a player.
Okay. Corey Lavalette joins us. You look up and down. They signed Stan Coven for an 8-year deal at $6 million a year. So he's committed there. When you look at Stan Coven, do you see him so if Aho is going to play with Ehlers, and I'm guessing maybe Seth Jarvis is on that line, who's their second line center? And where's Kotkaniemi at in your eyes? Is he ever going to be a second line center? Is he I know they got Jordan Staal, and he's a great third liner, but they still kind of miss a real second line center, don't they?
Well, that's the problem with Kotkaniemi is he's not a fourth line center. He's better than that, but he's also not a second line center. And no team has a better third line center, I think, than Jordan Staal. So he's kind of stuck in a bad situation where he hasn't been able to live up to the role of playing the 2C, and he's underslotted playing the 4C. Now that's not a problem, but
right.
Everybody thinks these guys are robots, and you've got to keep everyone happy too. That's part of it. I'm not saying he's a malcontent. He's a really easygoing guy. But I'm sure he wants to play, and he wants to play significant minutes, and he wants to contribute. And it's tough to do that on the fourth line. As for the 2C, I think you're going to see a couple of those wingers get a chance. I think you're going to see Stankoven, not the biggest guy in the world, but he might get a chance there. I think Seth Jarvis is going to get a chance to play in the middle. He was a natural center in juniors. He's become a great winger. He's a great defensive player. He's got an ongoing shoulder problem. Maybe things are a little easier for him in the middle than, being up against the boards all the time. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach that in camp. I think both those guys will get a look there. Kotkaniemi will be in the mix. They've got Mark Jankowski, who can be your fourth line center if that's what you need him to be. But they're stacked on the wings right now, right? You've got Ehlers, Svechnikov, Jarvis, Stankoven, Blake, Hall, Martinook, Carrier, Robinson. There's too many wings right now, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing that makes the most sense is either get one of those guys into the middle, or you wait 15 games into the season when right now every team thinks they're a playoff team next year. You wait for the team that goes 4-11 to start the year, and then you take all these assets that you have. The Hurricanes still have a surplus of draft picks, have a ton of cap space still, probably around $10 million, and that they can go and make a play for a second line center if they feel like, whatever they're doing to start the year doesn't work.
Corey Lavalette joins us, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. The Hurricanes signing Nikolai Ehlers, 6 years at $8.5 million. Where do you see Taylor Hall slotting in next year?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. I think, if one of Jarvis or Stankoven moves to the middle, then I think he might get a shot, on the second line. If Jarvis were to move to the middle, then you've got Ehlers and Aho up top. You've got to decide who's your right wing on the top line. Is it Jackson Blake? I don't know. Could Taylor Hall play as offside? Could Ehlers has played as offside before? Do you move Taylor Hall to the top line? You've got Svechnikov, who can play both sides. I think he's probably the best candidate to play alongside those two if Jarvis moves to the middle. So I think, the good thing about Taylor Hall is he's skilled and he's big. And, the problem with this plan for the Hurricanes, if they're going to go ahead with Sebastian Aho and one of, Stankoven and Jarvis in the middle, is you're not big down the middle. The good news is, they've got a little size on the wings here with guys like Hall and Svechnikov who can kind of counteract that.
You mentioned they're not obviously Stahl's big down the middle, but in the top. And when you look at Florida, because if you're the Carolina Hurricanes and, you look in the Metro, you're pretty confident. Hey, we can beat the Rangers. Who it's kind of a wild card. How good's Washington going to be again next year? What about New Jersey? They're pretty small anyway. So I think they're comfortable there. Do they does Rod Brindamore and the GM, do they talk about the fact that they need to maybe just add a little bit more playoff size? And is that something you think that maybe they just wait and add at the deadline?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, they've got the cap space, and some of these teams are going to drop off and decide, hey, these big grand plans we have aren't working so well. Maybe you can shake a guy loose that way. I think Rod Brindamore was skeptical of Sebastian Aho ever being a center. When he took over as coach, he was willing to give it a shot, but he flat out told me, he's like, centers aren't, 6 foot, 190 pounds, they're 6'2" and 200 pounds. Yeah. Even though Rod wasn't 6'2", but he definitely didn't have a strength problem. That's for sure. So, I think in his ideal world, I think Rod Brindamore would love to have, an Alexander Barkov type. I think everyone would. Sebastian Aho and Alexander Barkov are really, really similar players. It's just one is about 20% bigger than the other. Yeah. So that, that's an issue, I mean, that's something the Hurricanes are going to have to overcome. Every team in the league, it's a copycat league, right? Every team in the league now is going to want to get big and mean and nasty and tough. And this stuff is all cyclical, right? You could very well be talking, in a year about, a team that's smaller, that's winning that way. Tampa Bay is not big. Their top line is not big. Braden Point, Jake Gensel, Nikita Kucherov is a small line. And those guys find ways to be productive. So I think, that's something you have to consider is, do you want to play fire? You want to fight fire with fire, or are you going to try to go a different way? Hockey, like, boxing or MMA or whatever, is about matchups. And, Florida's big. They're also, a little slow. Their defense is, is going to get older. It's going to, remain not, particularly mobile. Seth Jones helps, but so can you exploit that as these guys age and, as injuries come in and things like that? The Panthers are going to have a hard time with depth. Yes, they signed their 3 big guys. How is Sam Bennett going to age? Brad Marchand is not going to be Brad Marchand for many more years. Aaron Ekblad's had his injury problems. These things add up. These long playoff runs add up. I'm not saying you sit around and wait for the other team to fall apart, but there's more than one way to skin a cat, I think. And I think you can still be a winning team and not be a bully team like everyone seems to immediately want to be now.
Corey, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for this. Happy Independence Day tomorrow, and enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Enjoy your summer.
You too. That's Corey Laviolette joining us from The Athletic. In Carolina, the Hurricanes getting Nick Ehlers, 6 years, $8.5 million. And they got a lot of depth. There's no question about depth. Do they have the one big game breaker? I don't know. I don't. Well, not that I don't know. I do know. They don't have it. And they got some guys who are bigger. Their defense, I'll say this, man, they just retool their defense all the time. And they continue to be successful. Can they get over the hump and get, because, when was the last time they were in the final, right? Like they can be a good team to win 2 rounds. That's about it. That's kind of where it taps out. Sometimes only one. So they're always competitive, though, and that's hard to be. They're always competitive. Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town. Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Noodle was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Noodle.
Grab your hard hat and huddle up. Your Edmonton Elks take on the Ottawa Redblacks this Sunday at 5. It's the first ever hard hat huddle game, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger, featuring excavators and diggers in the tailgate and construction-themed in-game contests. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at goelks.com.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items in store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, it's just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank, plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products, 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Stingray All Good Vibes on Prime Video offers you thousands of concerts, karaoke songs, and relaxing nature scenes on demand. Benefit from the Prime Day promotion between July the 2nd to the 11th.
Let's go, girls.
Subscribe today to receive 2 months of service at 99 cents per month. Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for concerts, karaoke, and more. Prime subscription is required.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
You on Thursday afternoon. Hope you're having an awesome day. If you missed it, Curtis Lazar, we might replay some of that interview a little bit later on in the show with Curtis. He was really good, pretty honest and open about obviously excited to be in Edmonton. Talked to the Oilers a few years ago in free agency, but ended up going to Vancouver at that point. So circled back this time and felt it was a good fit. Played with Trent Frederick, obviously knows Pod Colson. Know them more, played all year. Him and Connor McDavid were roommates, in fact, at the World Juniors. But as he said, he goes, it's not like we, aren't buddies, didn't stay in touch or anything from then. But McDavid is a good captain. You reach out, you sign a new guy, and you kind of invite him to the team and probably give a quick little lay of the land on, this is what our plan is. This is what we're doing, and we're looking forward to have you, and away you go. So I'm guessing that was kind of the gist of it. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick and Canada's biggest appliance sale is on now. Say big on appliances exclusive to The Brick, like the Hinsen stainless steel refrigerator for only $7.49, and you can get up to 60% off clearance appliances and below cost for the scratch and dent in store only. Those are some of the best deals you're ever going to get. Check it out at The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1, kind of a long-winded question, but build your ideal group of forward lines for the Oilers for game 1 of the regular season as the roster stands right now.
Well, I'm going to stick with my idea of having Henrique with McDavid and Hyman. Then I would have Draisaitl, Mangiapane, and I'll go off the board here. I'll go Tomasek. Then I'm going to have Frederick, Nugent Hopkins. Actually, I'll put Nuge. Sorry, I'm going to put, Mangiapane. So I'll put Nugent Hopkins, Frederick, and Frederick. Who do I want as my right winger there? Savoy. And then I'll go with Podkolzin. Ooh, that's tough. Podkolzin, Janmark, and Kapanen. Yeah, Podkolzin, Janmark, and Kapanen. That's what.
All right, question number 2. What is this Toronto Blue Jays team's ceiling? There we go.
Well, I think they're a playoff team. After that, once you're in the playoffs, who knows? If they want to go deep and be a World Series team, I think they're going to have to get another starting pitcher for sure and probably a few relievers. But I would say they're definitely a playoff team right now. Ceiling, who knows? It depends. Talk to me after the trade deadline.
Question number 3. What is the greatest Canadian sports moment that didn't come from a Canadian?
Ooh, so what was bigger? Best Canadian sports. Well, not from a Canadian. So we're obviously not talking any of the Olympics or anything like that. So
you kind of almost restrict yourself to the Blue Jays, the Raptors, and then CFL teams.
Well, what if it's a Canadian? What if an American scored a huge goal for a Canadian team?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
That'd be the same argument as CFL. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
CFL. I could look at a CFL like.
So it's not that restricted.
Yeah. Greatest Canadian moment that doesn't come from a Canadian player. I kind of like that. Ooh. Well, there's 2 that are big, and because they both led to championships in the major leagues, but I'm still going to go. Well, that was their second one. So you know what? I guess I'll go with Kawhi.
Shot heard around the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a massive shot, right? Clock's ticking down. It's unreal. So yeah, I'll go with that.
That Philly team, only team to take the Raptors to a 7 that year. Question number 4. If there was an NHL redraft fantasy style, so everyone is on the board, everyone's available, complete NHL 25 fantasy style, taking salary into account, who would get drafted earlier, Evan Bouchard or Zach Hyman?
So we're talking for fantasy hockey?
No. Like it's the NHL.
Oh, it's the NHL.
But like everyone started from scratch. Gary calls up the owners and he says, everyone's free. We're doing a draft 2 weeks from now.
Oh, Evan Bouchard for sure. Even with his salary cap, he's getting drafted sooner because he plays more minutes and he's younger. And so a team will look and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get my top. I'm going to get a top center. I'm going to get top this, but a top pairing defenseman is more valuable than most top pair wingers. Like you would need an elite, like Ovi in his prime, right? Kucherov right now. Like those are elite wingers that probably would go ahead, but not many other wingers would go ahead.
And question number 5. If your life depended on it, would you rather have to walk 40,000 steps a day or eat 4,000 calories a day? And this is my thing. Like, I think people are going to kind of scratch their heads and say, obviously, I'm taking the 40,000 steps, like be healthy, get out in nature. But I'm saying like your life depends on it. So like you break a leg, you got to figure out a way to get those 40,000 steps. You got a 16-hour flight with a 5-hour layover, got to figure out a way to get those steps. So like I said, I ask you, which are you choosing?
Well, 4,000 calories. I'm trying to think. Like the average person's daily calorie intake is anywhere between what? Like I think we talked about this before on the show. I think it's like 1,600 to 3,000, give or take. Our body really only needs about 2,500 for a guy, so I'm getting up to 4,000. Now, if I'm going to do the 4,000, then it just forces me to work out, right? And probably bulk up. But that means I got to do it all the time. Like neither one's sustainable long-term. I don't think. I guess you could walk 4,000, 40,000 steps every day. Like I think about when I walk a kilometer, you can get about 1,000 steps in a kilometer. So if I'm doing 40,000 steps,
that's 40 kilometers.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking. Right. So yeah, God, every day, like, ooh. Yeah, I guess I'd probably go with the 4,000 for a while because I guess, there's lots of people that can survive a long time being a little bit obese. So I guess I would go with that. I don't think I'd have enough time to get 40,000 steps. So 4,000 calories is probably more realistic. Probably unhealthier, but it's probably more realistic for sure. So what about you?
I think I would have to do the 4,000 calories. Like I think there's so many situations where I wouldn't be able to, like 40,000's a lot. Sometimes you just can't work that in. And again, like if your life's depending on it.
I'm trying to think how many calories in a how many calories? I think it's like 1,000 calories for a Big Mac meal, right?
That sounds probably roughly about right. Yeah. Like a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream is like 1,200.
A pint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't eat a whole.
But I was gonna say, like, if you just have your daily intake, then crush one of those, you're pretty much there.
Yeah, so a Big Mac meal would be 1,120. So if I have one of those a day, well, now I'm already down to, then I can eat. I could still have like a big dinner. I'd have to look at like what are the healthiest, highest caloric foods. That's what I'd be looking at.
Avocados and peanuts generally.
Oh, I eat avocados all the time, so I love avocados. So I've got to eat an avocado day. Like I know I still got to walk, but I think I could walk enough where if I ate 4,000 calories a day and worked out, I could still, like I wouldn't gain that much weight. Like that's, maybe I'm delusional in this, but that's what I think. I think I could eat 4,000 calories and find a way to work out and train and be okay. That's just my thought process. Somebody out there has got to be eating 4,000 calories a day and they're working out right now. They got to be. So.
Yeah, like 4,000's not that many. It felt like in tune enough with 40,000. Maybe like 10,000 calories. Now it's a real question.
Yeah. Hey guys, my wife has done 10,000 steps a day for the last 2 years. Not that hard. Well, yeah, 10,000. Now she's got to do 4 times that much. That's all I'm saying. I have the watch. I do 10,000 steps. Yeah, 10,000 is no problem. I got to get to 40. It's 4 times more. It's a little bit tougher. Hey, Gregor, why don't you ask Declan this question since he loves boxing? Would you rather talk like Mike Tyson the rest of your life or go 12 rounds with him? Well, obviously, I'd probably rather talk with him. Here's the truth. I couldn't do it. Declan couldn't do it. He couldn't go 12 rounds with Tyson.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. Like, I'm not lasting 12 rounds
there's no chance.
Mike Tyson,
God, 90% of, I know the Jake Paul thing where Mike Tyson chose not to hit him because that's the biggest farce going. By the way, any boxing people who watch that, you're ruining boxing. That is the biggest farce going. Anybody that he fights, none of them even punch him. Just see, I didn't even watch it, but I saw somebody say, well, yeah, there's nothing going on. I'm like, well, no bleep, Sherlock. I watched the Tyson one only because I was at a party where they were having on. I'm like, this is a joke. Tyson threw 2 series of punches, and after that, he's like, oh, I'm getting a little too hard here, and he stopped. It's embarrassing. Did you watch that fight?
I did not.
Okay, good.
I did not. I watched the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight right before it.
Well,
that's obviously great boxing, but I did not watch that one.
Yeah,
very proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, no, that would be good. Hey guys, when I was supervising, I'd walk 13 to 14K a day, 25,000 steps. Brutal. 40K would be tough. Yeah, like what is the average male man, male woman when you do your route and you're walking? How many steps is that? Now that's your job. So, but is that even 40,000 steps a day?
Generally between 10 and 30,000 steps.
Okay, so yeah, we're not even getting to 40. Hey guys, I used to work at West Ed. In a 12-hour shift, I would walk 20,000 steps, and that was a lot. 40K is crazy. Brad from the north side. Yeah, 40K would be I think my record when we did a big hike, when we hiked for 5 hours, I think I had 37,000 steps. That was my record once and any day on my watch. And now that was up and we were pretty gassed. So that was one day. You just I don't think you have time. Like maybe if you're a retiree to do the 40K. So I guess I'd have to do the 4,000. Hey boys, what about Canelo versus Crawford, JC? Now that fight, Deck, what do you think?
That fight is the stuff of legends.
Yeah, it should be really good.
These are two historically great, not just generationally, historically great fighters, relatively in their prime, fighting each other. Like, it is a boxing fan's super dream.
People should put that fight on and then put the fight that's called a joke, whichever old soup can that Jake Paul gets to fight. And I don't know who the sheep are who keep watching that. That's what you are. I'm sorry. You're a sheep in that element of your life. To watch that garbage, it's embarrassing. Absolutely. And then you listen to him talk, I can beat anybody. Give me a break. What a fraud. He's an absolute fraud. Fraud. Don't claim you're a boxer when you fight nobody. And then those guys clearly aren't boxing. It's clearly in their contract they can't hit you. Give me a break. Absolute joke. No one should watch it. But you watch that fight, now that'll be a fight. Unreal. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Make your first stop before you get on the road at Fountain Tire. Oil check, tire check, alignments, brake inspection. They'll do it all. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Carolina Hurricanes have signed Nikolai Ehlers, the number 1 ranked free agent on TSN's big board, to a 6-year, $51 million deal the team announced earlier today. San Jose Sharks have signed UFA defenseman Dmitry Orlov to a 2-year, $13 million contract and claimed Nick Leddy off waivers from the St. Louis Blues. Week 5 of the CFL kicks off tonight with the Blue Bombers in Calgary, a 7 p.m. kickoff before that one. Other news out of the CFL is quarterback Nathan Rourke of the BC Lions will be good to go in Week 5 action. Scores in the MLB right now. Tigers lead the Nats 3-0 in the bottom of the first, and a rain delay in the top of the first sees the Brewers and Mets tied 0-0. Yankees and Jays set to go in about 5 minutes time here. Chris Bassett on the mound for the Jays, and 2 finals from earlier saw the Rockies over the Astros 7-6 and the Marlins over the Twins 4-1. Edmonton Riverhawks in local baseball action down for the final game of their series against Port Angeles tonight, a 7:05 first pitch down at Remax Field. Nanaimo tomorrow. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick. Saving you more.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Bring non-perishable foods or monetary donations for Pure Leader Tackle Hunger in support of Edmonton's Food Bank. Get your tickets for Sunday's game at goelks.com.
Lions agreeing that, guys, 4,000 is way easier. Declan should have went like 25 to 30K. That would have been a little bit more realistic for the walk. It's probably fair because, 40. We're getting so many texts from people, mailman. They're like, dude, I'm like 31,000 a day, and that's a lot. So, yeah. And that's their job. So the average person who's got a job that doesn't involve walking, it's going to be hard to do. Hey, guys, I was the foreman, and they're building Rogers. I get about 35K a day. So you're walking, you're there, you're up and down the stairs, you're all over the place, I would think. So, and that's your job. That's during the day. So the average person just couldn't do it unless your job is walking. And even if it is walking, there's not a lot of people walking 40,000 steps a day for sure. Now, if you put out at Speck's cabin, if you included, if I just put like beers randomly around it, you might get in 40,000 steps. One of those hide a beer, like Easter eggs for Speck, he might get in 40K for that for sure. Is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. The Daily Grand. Get your tickets, Play Alberta. You get $1,000 a day. Then you can walk. Then you can probably do what you got to do today. Well, I just got to walk my steps. I got to be like Forrest Gump. Right? Now, there's people, think about it. Terry Fox ran a marathon a day, so you could do it. You could easily do 40,000 steps if we were committed to it. But that's all he was doing, and that was unreal. Imagine that. Seriously. When we think about it, we're talking about, 40,000 steps would be a lot. This guy was running a marathon every freaking day. That is still crazy. And by the way, he was on a prosthetic leg while he was doing it and battling cancer. Unbelievable. Unreal. Let's get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. They are hiring. You want to work for a fantastic company that'll not just get you a job, but start you on a career path. Go to GS Construction. See. Hey, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing awesome. How about you?
Oh, hey, living it. Did you watch that game last night? It looked like the Jays were going to spank them, and then the Yankees come back and tie it, and then the Jays getting 2 in the bottom of the 8th, the one on a wild pitch. It was that game had everything.
Yeah, it did. It's I mean, first of all, it's a godsend for guys like us on the radio that you can talk about the Blue Jays and be seriously caring right now, because it's that time of year when it's starting to get slow. But are you kidding? They get an 8-0 lead, and you think, oh man, this game's not going to be any good. It's over in like the 3rd inning. Then it's 8-6, and then it's 9-9. So yeah, it was fun. And in the end, they win. What's the stat? They haven't swept the Yankees in a 4-game series in like forever. So they'll try to do that tonight. They're just starting out first pitch here, but good for the Jays, man. I'll watch them all summer.
I don't even know when the last time that happened. That's a good stat. It's hard to win, especially a 4-game sweep, right? Like, there's not that many 4-game series. Then to sweep any team would be difficult. Never mind the Yanks; they're not a bad team usually. So I like that little.
They were
stat.
just talking about it They were talking about it on TV. I had to hit mute because you introduced me, or I would have that stat for you.
Well, there you go. Nice tease, Spec. Nice tease.
Yeah, sorry.
A few things. What do you make of the Nikolai Ehlers? Are you surprised he got $8.5 million?
Nikolai Ehlers, I mean, he's a good player, and his numbers support a salary like that now. Nikolai Ehlers is an elite support player for me. Like, he can't be your best player, right? And, he's a winger, and he is. If you have a really good team and he's part of that really good team, let's bring it home to Edmonton. If you were signing him and you said, okay, he's going to play next to Draisaitl like all day long, I'd have Nick Ehlers in that role. If you told me he was the guy that was going to drive my line, I'd think, I don't know. I need guys, he needs to be part of something. So 8.5, that's the world we live in. It sounds like a lot, but I mean, heck, 8.5, the guy that doesn't even start in the NBA makes 8.5, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, but I don't. Yeah, that's a totally different league. I'm just looking in the NHL, right? And when you look at, some other wingers and guys that were signed, it's a 6-year deal. And I get why Carolina did it, right? Like Carolina, I think they're trying to build, as 4 quality lines as they can. The problem is they don't have a second line center, right? Like, you can keep building around wingers until you get a center. It ain't going to matter. And Kotkaniemi is not the answer. He's never been the answer. He never will be the answer if you want to be a legit contender for him as your second line center.
And they're also, Nick Ehlers kind of fits Carolina's profile. He's fast. Mm-hmm. He's not giant, right? He's not a big man. He'll come in on the forecheck and drill you if he gets a chance, but I don't think anyone would characterize him as a particularly physical player. That's not his thing. His thing is to be fast and produce offense. So at some point, they would be well served to, if they could get a second line center. I hope he's got some size and some snarl to him, because frankly, every year they get to the playoffs, and when the game gets harder, Carolina goes away. And Nick Ehlers makes you better, but I'm not sure he really solves that issue for Carolina, and it's been an issue there for a long time. When do we start to wonder if it's just a bunch of guys with great analytics and not guys that actually win games in May? When do we start to have that conversation?
Yeah, well, it's hard to win, number one, right? Like, let's just make that clear. And I think, we look at teams like, Oiler fans are sitting there, hey, the Oilers have the same. We go in the summer. What's the Oilers? Well, I'm still concerned about their goaltending. It's totally valid, right? They got the same concerns. Now, the difference is they've gone to the Stanley Cup final, but ultimately they haven't got to their prize. And so Carolina's in the East. They're a top team. I don't think there's anybody who doubts they're a top team, but they can't, it's hard to go out there and just find it. Although it's not impossible, because Florida is the example. They went out and their GM was like, we're going to get snarly. So they went out and did it. Now, it just didn't happen overnight. It was a span of 3 or 4 years where they made multiple trades and multiple trades and multiple trades. And that's what worked. Yep. And they never really shopped in the free agent market big time, right? Like, they got Oliver Ekman-Larsson last year, and, it was a decent signing, but it wasn't like he'd been bought out, so they got him at a good price. Like, they've never gone out huge, big game hunting. Now, they did Bob many years ago, right? And it finally paid off at the end, but it didn't pay off for the first 5 years, and they almost got rid of him. So it's the reason I bring up Carolina is not to disparage them, because I'm trying to show the audience that it's hard to just snap your finger and fill in that hole that is there. They know it's there. Yep. It's just not that easy to go fix it.
Well, and look at our league. Like, the Final Four, has been some version of Florida, Carolina, Edmonton, and Dallas, give or take, I think, 1 trip by the Rangers in the last 3 years, and 1 or 4 years, 1 trip by, is it Colorado, maybe, I think? But basically those 4.
Yeah, Colorado won.
That's right. They went through. But my point is this: if you look at I did this exercise when they were playing. Edmonton was playing Dallas, and over the last 4 years, there's really sort of been 4 teams that have dominated and been in that spot. Florida's the big winner here. They got a couple of cups. Edmonton looks at, we're looking at Edmonton and we're going, man, how do you get better? How do you get better? Look at Dallas. Dallas lost twice in a row to Edmonton, and they were getting further away this year. They're asking themselves, how do we get better? What do we do? Do we trade Jason Robertson? And now we're talking about Carolina. And, like for those folks out there who are looking at Edmonton and taking them apart and tearing them down and saying, oh, we got to change this. You got to fix that. Like forget, you could be Carolina and you don't even get to the cup, or you could be Vancouver and you're just trying to make the playoffs. Like, you think Edmonton has work to do. There's 29 teams out there that have even more work to do than this.
Oh, well, that was my point the other day when I wrote my article. Like some people that, the Oilers are terrible. They're so far away. I'm like, no, they're not that far away.
No, they're not. No.
The next step is the hardest one. There's no question about it, right? And Florida's not a great matchup for Edmonton. I think we can all agree on that. They're not a great matchup. Now, if somebody else in the East can get there, Edmonton's probably a really good matchup. Like Edmonton just waxed Vegas and they waxed Dallas. Like waxed them. Those two series weren't close. And the Florida series was closer than what Edmonton-Dallas was and Edmonton-Vegas was. But there's just some that aren't great matchups. And right now, Edmonton, Florida's the matchup that isn't good for them. And what's interesting is it's hard. Like when Calgary beat Edmonton and people go back, well, look what Calgary did. Yeah, but you knew you were going to face Edmonton in the second round. You had to. In Edmonton's case, you're like, well, can we build our team to think we can beat the team in the fourth round? Well, we got to beat the team in the first, second, and the third round first. That's why it's different.
Yeah. And it's I mean, I think we forget about this little tidbit too, Jason. Maybe if you have Zach Hyman, who's your hardest forward that goes to the net more than any other, maybe if you has your top line right winger, maybe if your top line left winger doesn't bust his hand in the first game in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and maybe if your hardest, best defender doesn't limp into the series and never was anywhere close to what Matthias Ekholm should really be. So it's not an excuse, it's a reason. Edmonton shows up at the gunfight and their gun's missing some bullets here. I've said this 100 times on the radio to people. Florida might have beat you with those guys, but without those guys, or with Ekholm hurt, with Nugent-Hopkins got a broken hand. I guess his hand was a mess. With no Hyman, like your chances aren't good. So this is all fair. I hear what you're saying. Calgary absolutely built their team because they knew they had to go through Edmonton. I think if I'm Vegas, I'm thinking the same thing here, right? Maybe if I'm Dallas, I'm thinking the same thing, but you're right. You can't build for a guy on the other side of the draw that you may or may never see again.
Yeah. Like I think those teams could look to say, hey, we got to build to try to beat Edmonton, right? Like that's what Dallas is thinking for sure. They're like, we got to beat Edmonton. And so they went out and they actually got one of their assistant coaches. He would know Edmonton intimately. If they beat them in the next round, there's not many guys who would know the Oilers better than Glenn Gulletson. Right now, they got to get there first, right? So there's no guarantee, and we'll see what happens. But it is, I think, when I was watching Carolina, I was looking at their signings. You're like, oh yeah, they don't have this, but I'm like, damn, like it's hard to just snap your finger and fix the area that you want to fill on your team. I don't think it's that easy. Florida didn't just snap their finger one time, right? It took a long
no.
Bobrovsky. It was like an 8-year deal, and then they still finished first and lost, right? So it's hard.
Yeah. I think history is going to show, like we're following this thing inch by inch and, looking at every little thing Carolina does wrong and every little thing Edmonton did wrong. History is going to show that the Florida Panthers were one of the great teams of this whole era. Like the game they laid down against Edmonton, I've covered, 18 or 19 Stanley Cup finals. That game that sent Edmonton, when they pinned them in their zone and Edmonton couldn't get out the whole period almost, like not many teams lay that game down on their opponent. I think about the LA Kings, that boring Kings team that won. They did dominate like that. Like their style and their game, the Rangers, I think they played the Rangers in Jersey, right? Couldn't handle it. I mean, just couldn't. That blanket that Daryl Sutter threw at them, I hated it. It was awful to watch, but man, it was every bit as effective as Florida. No one doubted for a second who was going to win those series. And I think we'll look back at Florida and we won't say, oh, they got through because Carolina wasn't good. We'll say poor Carolina, they got up against the wrong team. Maybe poor Oilers, they had 2 chances that it just happened to come against a really, really, really good Florida team. Don't take it away from the Panthers, man. That's a top flight club right there.
They were, and also one that benefited from a rule that will be changed for this coming season. Will be the last year where you can have a salary cap that significantly exceeds what your opposition team has in the final. And make no mistake, now they're not cheating. It's just an advantage. That's all it is. No one can discount that it's an advantage for any team that does it. And you know what? If I was a team this year, knowing it's the last year, and I got any guy who I think's remotely injured, I'd be talking to him saying, dude, do you want to, this might be, if we're going to play by the rules, and I know that you have to show all the paperwork. Don't get me wrong. First of all, the guy's got to get legit hurt. But if you can save him for a week to come back, you can do it. And it makes a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, it has to happen. You're right. Someone has to get hurt.
Yes.
Sure.
Like they don't fake the injury.
But
injury.
this, I'm interested. I don't know if this investigation into the Oilers and Kane is just going to fade away into nothing.
Oh no, it's already done. Yeah,
Sure.
They already said it's done. Because I talked to Stan Bowman about it, and he was like, "Well, we got all the paperwork. I'm not really too worried about it." And so the NHL announced that the investigation.
I missed the announcement. I also spoke to Stan, and he told me the same thing. He wasn't that worried about it, but this is it. This is the last year, and you'll probably see a whole bunch of teams trying to exploit that deal this season. I don't like it either, Jay. I think it's stupid. Like, I get the fact, I like the fact that, if a guy gets hurt, you get to replace him for your season and use that cap space, and that's fair. But totally. The fact that we play with one salary cap in the season and a completely new one, I don't care if they raise it 10% in the playoffs or something like that. I don't know. And everybody gets to play the game, but it's exploitative to what we're doing. It's against the spirit of a salary cap. No one likes it. And all the teams that win have exploited it. So it probably works, right?
Well, it's an advantage, no question, because when it's that tight, you get to the final, and if you all of a sudden can have $4 or $5 million, that's like a legit second line player. Well, that's a big difference on it's not your fourth line guys, right? They're carrying 775 or 900K. They're not the ones that are the difference makers.
Yeah.
It's the top end guys. And so of course it's an advantage for teams. And I'm thankful. Like like I said, this is and the worst part is this solution should have been put in place the first time, because you can make adjustments to the CBA in during the season. And you just both sides agree, away you do it. And I actually wish, now who knows, maybe because I've talked to people that are like, their understanding is they don't think it's coming in for next season. But my question would be, why wait? Why do you have to wait? Because this doesn't change any of the salary cap or anything. It doesn't change the amount of money that's in the pool for the players. It just changes what happens in the postseason. But it sounds like it's not going to be in. Who knows? Maybe when it's actually written, it will be. But the two people I've talked to, their understanding is that it will not be in place for next season.
And make no mistake, if Hyman was healthy, the Oilers would have played at $5.5 million over the cap too, right?
Yeah, they will. Because their guys got their guys. The minute Ekholm was hurt, so when Kane came back, Ekholm was in. There's a $6 million, $5 million player, so it didn't change. You're right. They never had Ekholm, Kane, and Hyman in the lineup at the same time. So they would have benefited from it too, but that would have made a difference. Right. No one can deny. I think it would have made a difference for them.
They didn't. Let's add that up. Did Hyman get hurt in the Dallas series before Ekholm came back?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go. They never had him. And if they had, there would have been somewhere between 5 and 6 over the cap themselves. And I mean, just for the record, it's not like Edmonton's a bunch of angels. If Hyman was healthy, he'd have played, and they'd have been over the cap too. Make no mistake about that.
No. They would have. The rule would have benefited them. Right?
Yeah.
It would have. And so they wouldn't have done anything wrong because it's legal by how they like to play the game. And it really comes back.
It comes back to good and bad luck. We've both seen so many playoffs. The thing about the NHL playoffs is, guys are going to get hurt. It's such a marathon, and it's the only sport where the object, ball or puck, injures you at a regular basis, right? The odd guy gets hit by a pitch. Everybody gets hit by the puck. They try to get in the way of it, for Pete's sakes. So my point is, we know guys are going to get hurt in the playoffs. You just hope it's not your best guys, you know. And Nugent Hopkins gets a puck in the hand. Bad luck, Edmonton. Guys get hit. Look at Hyman. He leads the league in hits. The hit that put him out was a totally innocuous play by Marchment. He faced way worse hits than that. Boom, broken wrist, done for the season. So, you know what? You need luck to win. And I'd say to you that, I'll repeat it, Florida might beat you even if you have good luck, but they got bad luck. That didn't help many.
Spec, tomorrow I'm going to send you in advance so you can because I'm going to ask you a question. And it's a little teaser for our audience, but they'll be very intrigued by it because there is a trend in the NHL that has been going on for a while. And I think people will be surprised by what the trend is. And I'm going to tell you that you're going to have to pick your 3 to fit this trend. And it's not going to be easy. So I'll send you that tomorrow, and you can do a little homework before the show.
Send it early in the day. My brain's slowing down here. It's July.
Okay, I will. I will do that. I will send it first thing in the morning.
All right, Jay. Sounds good, man.
Okay, have a good one. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. It is, honestly, it's a trend that, because I think a lot of people naturally like, there's no chance. But it happens. And it's happened repeatedly. And it's likely going to happen again. So we'll get to that tomorrow. We'll even tease it a little bit earlier. We'll get your thoughts and opinions on it because I think it's a real kind of good brain teaser for hockey fans. We'll get to that tomorrow on the show. Take a quick break. We'll return. Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
The Summer Drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Chat Ave and 118th.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items. In-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Grab your hard hat and huddle up. Your Edmonton Elks take on the Ottawa Redblacks this Sunday at 5. It's the first ever hard hat huddle game, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger, featuring excavators and diggers in the tailgate and construction-themed in-game contests. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at goelks.com.
With all the news about tariffs and price hikes coming our way, you have to be strategic with your money. St. Albert Dodge knows that and has some good news for you. Right now, all Ram 1500s are available with 0% financing for up to 72 months. So think think about it. You can get into a brand new Ram 1500 right now at pre-tariff prices, while selection is still good, and pay 0 interest on your financing. That keeps more money in your pocket. And that's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Oh, I know. Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all cheddar lovers, try Papa John's new cheddar crust one-topping pizza for only $17.99. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app.
That's a great tune, man. Fantastic. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Gregor, that's the ultimate tease. I can't wait all day. What is it? Sorry, you guys will have to wait tomorrow, hockey fans. I think you'll like it because it'll force you to have to think about something that you don't think is possible. That's what's unique about it. So we'll discuss that with Spec, and we'll give you your chance to give your response on it as well tomorrow on the show. So should be fun. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Do you want to go to the Elks game tomorrow? We got a pair of seats to send you. Not tomorrow, on Sunday, 5 o'clock start. Text in, very simple. Just text in the word Elks, and we'll send you a pair of tickets. Vance in LA couldn't go, didn't want to waste his seats. Good seats. So guess what? Sunday afternoon, a little Elks action, 5 o'clock. You could be in the stands. Now, remember, if you take your kid, I highly recommend you're getting free tickets. Make sure that you go into it's on the southwest corner inside the stadium. And that's when you sign up. You get your brick pass, and that gets you to go onto the field after the game. And if you have a young son or daughter, I'm telling you, they love it. Absolutely love it. So if you want to go to the game on Sunday, just text in right now, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Just put Elks, and then we will pick someone, and away you go. We do have a lot of texts that we want to catch up on in the text line. Hey, boys, listen to the Lazar interview. Quite liked it. His thoughts about helping Philp while at the same time making the team. Do you think one of them is for sure going to be the fourth line center? Because I crunched the numbers. If one of them's the fourth line center, then one of Janmark, Podkolzin, one of the wingers isn't going to be in the lineup. That's a fair question. Like the Oilers have quite a, like if you look at all their forwards signed right now, you can make an argument that they have too many of them. So you've got Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman. They're obviously playing. Nugent Hopkins, Frederick, Mangiapane, Henrique, right? Kapanen, Janmark, Tomasek, Jones, Podkolzin, Savoy, Curtis Lazar. So that's 14 forwards. Now, are they going to keep 14 forwards. Because if they do, then they because they're going to obviously keep 7 defensemen and then 2 goalies. So if they run with a 23-man roster, they would basically have $175,000 in cap hit, and then they could accrue that. But if they decide to run with 13 forwards, and even if it's only for a week at a time or 2 weeks, and maybe there's an injury and you got to recall someone, fine, that would allow them then to have, depending on which player it is, let's say it's Max Jones. Well, now you'd start with 1.175 in cap space. And now you're never going to have that all year long every day, right? Somebody's going to get injured. Somebody's going to be in the IR. And when you're on the IR, you still count against the cap, even if you're only out a week. So, unless they're just going to run, maybe they'd be in like a weird state where they're at home for 4 games and they're playing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So they have time in between every game. So they wouldn't do it. So that's possible. But it's rare to just accrue all year long, right? That's obvious. But accruing even for a first month, and now you're accruing that much every day, well, that adds up pretty quickly. So I don't think they're going to run with 14. So do I think one of Philp? Well, Philp's going to have a good camp. If not, he's going to go down the minors. Doesn't require waivers. They've got a bunch of other veterans who do. So I think it's not pressure per se, because he's going to give every opportunity to make the team. But I do believe that he's going to have to be, he's just going to have to be better, right? That's just how it is. So what do you do? I think we're having some issues with our text line. At least I am. So I don't know if, Deck, are you having issues with the text line over there?
It looks like it's flowing in fine for me. A lot of Elks text, as you would expect. But no, to answer your question, it's all good on my end.
Okay, because mine is not updated. So there you go. Hopefully, now it is finally. So okay, Declan will pick a winner and then he'll announce it. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey guys. I know Oiler fans need to abort their blaming of just the goaltending and defense. They lost Game 7 last year and Games 5 and 6 this year because their high-priced offense had prostate problems and couldn't urinate a drop. Full stop from Hacksaw. Wow. In those games specifically, yeah, you're right. They didn't score a lot of goals. That's valid. But they're pretty important to get there. So, and that's what makes the playoffs so hard, right? Comes down to a game or two situation, and you'd like a lot of other things to happen. But I think to me, it's a little hard to want to look and say, geez, McDavid and Draisaitl will have to do more. Like, I don't know. They've done quite a bit to help you get there. And, hey, like I said, Florida was a tough matchup. I will say the one thing that this year showed me in that series against Florida is I do never, ever want to see McDavid and Draisaitl starting games together, playing 90% of their minutes together. It does not work. I'm sorry. It doesn't work. If you want to put them together after a penalty kill, you want to put them together for a few shifts when you're trailing late in the game, I'm all for it. But I hope they're past the days where they're I think you are losing the ability to dictate the game by having one of those two on the ice as often. I understand that Hyman was hurt and Nugent Hopkins hurt, so I get it. But I still wouldn't have done it. I would have said, guys, because to me, it made it too easy for Florida. That's what it did. Made it too easy for Florida. And you're just like, hey, we're going to shut down this line. And now your third and fourth best forwards are basically hurt. So what are you going to do? Now we think your third and fourth line are going to score 3 goals to win a game? Pretty hard to do. So I would avoid that at all cost in the future if I was them. Hey, Gregor, I disagree. You need only 1 goal to win. They give you the best chance. Did they score a goal though in Game 5? No. And you don't just need 1 goal to win. That's somewhat of a fallacy. How many games did they now look at when the Oilers won games 1-0. Stewart's they got outshot 33-13. Right? Now, if you're expecting Stuart Skinner to do that all the time, I think it's probably unrealistic. So, yes, you can win a game 1-0. It's just rare. That's all I'm saying. It's rare, and that's why I would I would be hesitant. You can do it every now and then, but obviously it didn't work. And Florida didn't even get shutouts in game 5 of 2 years ago. Or sorry, game 7 a few years ago and 5 and 6 this year, right? Didn't happen. Hey, Greggs, I know everybody's high on Gavin McKenna. What about the rest of the draft? Because are all these teams going to tank just to try to get the one pick? Well, fair point. Very fair point. We could talk, you know what? We'll talk to Stephen Ellis about that because it is a storyline. But here's the thing. Like the odd for Gavin McKenna, look at Connor McDavid. Look at Sidney Crosby. Look at Alex Ovechkin. Heck, look at Patrick Kane. Look at the difference that a guy like that made for a team, right? Nathan McKinnon, Colorado. Yeah, it matters. So right now, there's lots of teams that there's not many teams that were giving away good players. A lot of teams are like, hey, I think we can improve next year. Now, that's a great thought process, but realistically, it's not all going to happen, right? It's impossible. So you look at San Jose. San Jose went out, and in the last few days, they added Klingberg, Orlov, and Nick Leddy. That should make their defense better. Now, is it going to make their team that much better? But it might drop them out of 32nd place, which is probably what they want. They want to see some production, but you got to remember, San Jose had 52 points last year. They could improve by 20 points, and they would still have the third fewest points in the NHL, even if they improve by 10 wins. So there's still going to be a team, I think, that's near the bottom. But like the Anaheim Ducks, I think are a team that's on the rise. I think they might push for a playoff spot. Now, Calgary, everything went right in Calgary last year. Can they repeat it? Maybe. What about Vancouver? So there's lots of teams that could go up or down. But I think by Christmas time, there'll be some teams that are like, you know what, it ain't happening. Heck, by November, there'll be some teams that realize it's not happening. A few teams are going to lose a key player. It just happens. And some teams that we don't think will be in the draft lottery might suddenly be in it. And then they're like, well, damn, if we're in it now, we might as well. There's no point trying to salvage the season and finish 10th in the conference. What the hell is the point of that? At that point, remember, that's what happened to the Oilers. I know it's a long time ago, but go back and look at the Oilers roster of the 2009-2010 season, because you got to remember that the Edmonton Oilers, they weren't a horrible team in 2009. They weren't like a bottom feeder. They missed the playoffs by, what did they have? 80? I think they missed the playoffs by like 5 or 6 points. And the year before, they'd missed it by 2. So they weren't awful. But then 2009, 2010 came, and the Oilers plummeted all the way to 32nd. But that wasn't the plan. It wasn't the plan at all. It just happened because they got, they weren't that blessed with a ton of talent. But then they also had a lot of their better guys get hurt, right? Nikolai Habibulin, he went down with injury. Like, look at how many Oilers that year played, like Gilbert, Penner. Okay, they played. But look at Ales Hemsky. How many games did he play that year, right? Sheldon Surrey missed half of a season. Hemsky only, I think, played like 20 games. I'd have to look back. Maybe it was slightly more. But some of their best guys got hurt, and they were done. So, Lubomir Visnovsky, well, they traded him away that year with like 25 games to go or something. So there'll be a team, trust me, there will be a team that's kind of like a middle of a packer right now when you look and say, okay, who missed the playoffs by a little bit? Well, Vancouver, Utah, Columbus, Detroit, Islanders. Now, I think the Penguins are going down anyway. But there's going to be one of those teams, somebody's going to get hurt. All of a sudden, they're like, damn, maybe another guy's going to get hurt. And suddenly they'll be like, ooh, draft lottery doesn't look that bad. We'll come back and announce the winner for the Elks tickets when we return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Now, Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
$5:49. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Declan Cougar, who was our winner?
Titan, you got him.
Titan. Ooh, quite the name. Titan going to the game on Sunday. We'll actually have a few more seats to give away tomorrow on a positive Friday, so I'll have some time to plan ahead. Hey, guys, the Islanders must be going to move Sorokin as they sign Big Save Dave. Terrible goaltending is the easiest way to hit the suck button from Hacksaw. Well, I think it's because Varlamov is injured. I know you're being facetious, and it's kind of funny, but no. I do not see that at all. So, hey, Gregor, if I was McDavid, I would sign for 2 years, and if nothing is done, I would be gone from filth. You know what? Hey, if he signs for 2, then that means it'd be 3 more years. If you're the Edmonton Oilers, hey, 3 more years, it's not a deal, but it's better than 1 more year. So yeah, like, hey, McDavid controls things. Make no mistake about it. But I don't see McDavid, 2 years. I could see him signing a 3-year deal. Honestly, I could. Right? They know what the salary cap's going to be. So even if he signs a 2-year deal, I get it. Right? Like, yeah, he wants to win. I understand it. There's a lot. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. He's focused. He wants to win. That's his only focus. The regular season is one thing that they just want to try to get through unscathed, but it's still important because you got to make it through to get to the postseason. And it's not a guarantee. It's not like the Oilers are just going to show up at the rink and be like, we know we're making the playoffs. If they think that, guess what? Then they'll find themselves battling to make the playoffs. It's never just that easy. Should the Oilers make the playoffs? Yes. I would look at their talent. I would look around the West, and I don't see that many other teams that have improved significantly enough that the Oilers would find themselves on the outside looking in. But they still have to play well. It's not just, well, hey, we're the Oilers, and we show up, and we're going to win, right? And there's lots of teams in the same boat. It's competitive. And I think, like, you look at Utah's improved. I think Anaheim has improved. Neither one of those teams are playoff teams. So that's going to close the gap. Some would say Vancouver has improved. Now, it's based on an if their goalie is healthy. But still, if he's healthy, then guess what? They've improved. I don't think there's much arguing that. So how much? Great question. And that's what's going to make it great. It's going to make it great. Coming up on the show tomorrow, as I mentioned, we're going to have a topic that's going to make you think. I'll give you a little teaser. It might add a little bit of concern in Oilers Nation. Just a little bit, because you never know. And that's why we'll discuss it. And that's why it's going to be a lot of fun coming up on the show tomorrow. So have yourselves a great Thursday evening. On behalf of Declan Cougar, Josh Fenwick, Jason Gregor, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. If you missed any part of the show, go to the podcast, anywhere where you get your podcasts, or jasongregor.com has all the individual interviews, Curtis Lazar, and more. Let's get to Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca. Have an awesome Thursday night. Enjoy the Jays game and the CFL. We're up.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Washington Capitals have re-signed unrestricted free agent forward Anthony Beauvillier to a 2-year, $5.5 million contract, the contract carrying an AAV of $2.75 million. Earlier today, the Hurricanes signed Nikolai Ehlers to a 6-year, $51 million deal, the number one free agent on TSN's big board, and the San Jose Sharks signed unrestricted free agent defenseman Dmitry Orlov to a 2-year, $13 million contract and claimed Nick Leddy off waivers from the St. Louis Blues. Week 5 of the CFL kicks off tonight. The Blue Bombers in Calgary taking on the Stampeders. Kickoff for that one just over an hour away at 7 p.m. In the MLB, 2 finals from earlier today. Rockies over the Astros 7-6 and Marlins over the Twins 4-1. Games in action right now include the Yankees and Blue Jays. They're tied 1-1 in the top of the third. Tigers trail the Nats 6-3 in the bottom of the fourth. Mets and Brewers 0-0 in the middle of the first. And at the end of the second, it's the Angels over the Braves 3-0. 3 games in the WNBA, halftime in 2 of them. Fever lead the Aces 46-24 and Sparks lead the Liberty 41-37. The only other game, 8:40 left in the second. Dream lead the Storm 17-15. Edmonton Riverhawks will be in action tonight at Remax Field, the final game of their series against Port Angeles. That one with a 7:05 first pitch. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to